And now, ladies and gentlemen, to give the command to start today's race is our Grand Marshal, the Governor of Arkansas, Governor Bill Clinton. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, start your engines.
If he is to win today, Davy Allison will have to battle the tough racetrack and 37 other drivers in order to win the $1 million. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Today, live from Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina, it's the Mountain Dew Southern 500. And thousands of race fans have come here for this traditional Labor Day event and to see if Davy Allison can win the bonus. The weather here is warm, humid, cloudy, 81 degrees, 80% humidity, and there is a 70% chance of rain this afternoon. Allison hopes to accomplish something that he has never done before, and that is win at Darlington. The Winston Million has only been captured once. That was by Bill Elliott in 1985.
Bill Elliott is racing into the record books. Bill Elliott is going toward immortality. Bill Elliott gets the checker flag. Bill Elliott has won an additional $1 million in 1985.
That was 7 years ago, and we'll know in about 4 hours if Davy can do it for the second time. The points, the quest for the Cup standings. Bill Elliott is on top by 109 over Allison, but only 2 drivers in the top 5 have ever won here at Darlington, Elliott and 4th place, Harry Gant. This track has been called many things over the years, including too tough to tame. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob, and hello, everyone. You know, in recent years, Darlington has been known for its streakers. No, not the naked guys that run in front of the camera. We're talking about drivers who win consecutive races. Remember, 1 year ago today, handsome Harry Gant, that same Oldsmobile back there, began a win streak of 4 in a row. And his nickname, Mr. September. And back early in the spring, the driver to the right of me here, the Budweiser Ford driver, Bill Elliott, ended his streak of winning 4 in a row. Both those drivers would like to have a new streak begin today, as would other experienced drivers. And talking about a lot of experience, let's go upstairs to Ned and Benny.
I cannot believe trying to win $1 million at this racetrack, Ned.
I tell you, it's a tough one, Benny. You know, there are tracks that you race, and there are tracks that you pace.
And this is definitely one you pace. Bristol last week, Bill Elliott did a great job, paced himself. And I'm telling you, this is a racetrack you really have to be careful all day.
Well, there's so many places that you can get in trouble on this racetrack. It's basically a one-groove racetrack, and if something happens in front of you, there's not much room to dodge it. You don't see many one-car accidents here, as you well know.
And sometimes you cause the accident that starts the crash.
Well, I think one thing they'll be concerned about here today is tires. Now, Goodyear has a good radial tire here, but the pavement is so abrasive here. The tires slow down considerably, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them maybe a different kind of strategy here, maybe like Harry Gant employed back in the spring, where he was stopping every 45 laps, long before he would need gas. So it'll be interesting to see who does pace and who does race. But there's one fellow that we can rest assured that'll be in the race category. For more on that, here's John Kernan.
You guys can talk about $1 million bonuses and streaks all you want, but for pole sitter Sterling Marlin, he's not concerned with any of that. The only thing he is concerned with today, surviving and winning this race. Sterling, 5 poles this year, but he has yet to visit victory lane during his entire Winston Cup career. Not only does he want to win today's race, guys, he told me this morning that he almost feels that he has to win, but he knows the job at hand. He's got to be careful. He can't push the car too hard here at Darlington, or he'll wind up in the wall. But there is one bonus he does have a chance to win, Bob, and of course that's the Unical bonus for starting from the pole. If you can also win the race, that's up to $53,200.
There's Sterling Marlin on the pole for the 5th time in the 1992 season. Governor Bill Clinton is the Grand Marshal of today's race. He is riding in that first pace car on the track as the field comes down to complete one of a couple pace laps. Now here is the die-hard starting lineup for today's race. Pole sitter is Marlin, 162.249, the Maxwell House Coffee Ford, car number 22. Ernie Irvin starts alongside in the Kodak Film Chevrolet, car number 4. In the second row, it's Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri in the Kodiak Chevrolet car number 25. And then Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia in the Budweiser Ford car number 11. Darrell Waltrip starts in 5th position in the Western Auto Chevrolet car 17. Then number 28, the Hamilton Ford driven by Davy Allison from Hueytown, Alabama. In row number 4, it's Jimmy Hensley in the Trop Arctic Ford number 66. And alongside will be Brett Bodine in the Quaker State Ford car number 26. Alan Kulwicki starts in 9th position in the Hooters Ford car number 7. Then Chemung, New York's Jeff Bodine in the Motorcraft Ford car number 15. 11th starting position goes to the number 33 Skoal Bandit Oldsmobile driven by Harry Gant. Wally Dallenbach occupies starting position number 12 in the Keystone Ford car 16. Dale Earnhardt starts in 13th position in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet car number 3, and then Dick Trickle in the Snickers Ford car number 8. As you look at the rest of the starting lineup, the field is coming down for its second warm-up lap. The pace car still has the field in tow, and we should be going green next time around.
Bob, we see some awfully good drivers far back in the field. Mark Martin, Morgan Shepherd. Only one round of qualifying here on Friday afternoon. It rained the second round qualifying out yesterday. And we might make note that Mark Martin, Morgan Shepherd, Kyle Petty are all pitting on the backstretch. And as we've said before, some of these telecasts pitting on the backstretch is a definite disadvantage.
A decided disadvantage, because you have to wait for all the fellows on the front pit to stop, change their tires, and then you go in. You simply start behind all the guys pitting on the front.
3 in-car cameras for you this afternoon. Jimmy Hensley had an excellent qualifying performance. Morgan Shepherd will also carrying one of our in-car cameras, and for the first time that I can remember, the in-car camera, the roof cam on Dale Earnhardt's car.
And this ought to be exciting, riding with him.
The 1.366 miles in length is Darlington International Raceway. The pole speed was 162.2 at 30.31 seconds. We'll go 367 laps, and the field is separated by just under 3 seconds. Darlington International Raceway pits, as Ned indicated, both on the front stretch and on the back stretch. And that picture there of the track is pretty accurate. Turns 1 and 2 are much sharper than turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I talked to Harold Grayson, the constructor of the racetrack, and he told me there was a fish pond down off turn 2 he couldn't disturb. That's why the racetrack is egg-shaped.
Look at the crowd. They're on their feet waving as the green flag waves, and the Mountain Dew Southern 500 rolls at Darlington.
What a magnificent start.
And a good start for Ernie Irvin as he's grabbed the lead coming out of turn 2.
Here comes Davy Allison on the inside, trying to get by, cannot make the move.
Trying to pass Schrader for 4th position. Lap number 1 is about to be completed. Ernie Irvin leads Sterling Marlin. Davy Allison still trying to find 4th position from Ken Schrader. Behind Allison is Darrell Waltrip and Brett Bodine. There's the battle for 2nd position as Bill Elliott has closed right in on Sterling Marlin for 2nd.
Team cars, Sterling Marlin, a National House car, Bill Elliott, a Budweiser car. Both these cars at a Junior Johnson shop up in Wolf County, North Carolina.
Bill would like to get up there and lead early if he can to get 5 bonus points.
Now Dale Earnhardt begins his move, going to the inside of the 66 car of Jimmy Hensley. Earnhardt started back in 13th position.
There's Hensley on the outside, but this is a give-and-take racetrack. Hensley got to back off. He wisely does that. Lets Earnhardt have the position. And look at Labonte, 2 abreast going through turn 3 already.
Earnhardt moved into 11th.
There's Labonte and Wally Dallenbach side by side. Now Dallenbach gets out ahead. Dick Trickle in the Snickers Ford right there also. This is Jimmy Hensley's bumper cam looking back on Wally Dallenbach.
There's Dallenbach, the Keystone Beer Ford.
Started in 12th position. Good qualifying effort for Wally. Ernie Irvin has jumped out to a healthy lead over Marlin and Elliott here in the first 5 laps. And now Elliott tries to take second away from Marlin, but that's not the place to be in turn 3.
Marlin just drove in there on the outside of him, wouldn't give up the spot. Elliott had to back off.
Davy Allison runs in 5th.
Remember last Saturday night, this is about exactly the way it was. Ernie Irvin had quite a lead and lost it by himself coming off the second corner. And I tell you what, I know that had to be embarrassing. That's probably what he's thinking right now. Keep this car going straight.
6 laps completed now with Irvin out front. We're glad that we're part of your Labor Day 1992 weekend. We are live from Darlington, South Carolina. Back in a moment. Ernie Irvin continues to lead this race after 10 laps, but as you can see, Sterling Marlin is making a bid and now grabs first place as the cars head out of turn number 1 and turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Mountain Dew. Get vertical with the refreshing great taste of Mountain Dew. By Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer, we build excitement. And by Fram Oil Filters. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. Well, the exciting Gillette Halfway Challenge is coming up in today's race. The driver leading at the halfway lap will win $10,000, and a fan at home will have a chance to win a beautiful Chevrolet Lumina Z34. If you have entered the contest for today's race and your entry is selected and you're called at home, you must name the driver who won the Gillette Halfway Challenge. If you want to enter the contest for next week's Miller Genuine Draft 400 on Saturday, September 12th, write to Gillette Halfway Challenge, Post Office Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33731 2246. You must be 18 years of age or older, and we must receive your entry by Friday, September the 11th to be eligible for next week's Gillette Halfway Challenge. Sterling Marlin has taken the lead and begins to now draw the lead out, and Bill Elliott has taken over second position, but Irvin gets it back at the end of the backstretch.
I'm telling you, you just mentioned Bill Elliott's name and he lost his spot. Bob, Irvin blew right by him. It looked like Irvin had lost the handle. Car got a little loose, pushing or something, but now he seems to be coming back.
Yep, trying to make a bid on Elliott. Right behind Schrader is Davy Allison.
Looks like Davy was really pumped at the beginning of the race and had to go charge and take some spots away. But I think right now he's just content to settle in and get a few hundred miles under his belt and then try to win the $1 million.
I think that would be the smart thing for him to do. I believe that's what he's doing. He has a good race car. Now he makes a move on Ken Schrader. Schrader goes a little high, so he moves over and takes the position.
Davy Allison up to 4th now. Marlin leads, Irving second. Then Elliott, then Allison, and Schrader. Harry Gant has been doing well in the first few laps. There he is running right behind Brett Bodine, who is behind Darrell Waltrip. Gant started 11th. He's now up to 9th position.
This is Harry and Darrell Waltrip. This is their kind of racetrack because they're very patient people, and you have to be. Garrett, Davy's trying to take that 3rd spot away from Phil.
Those are the two battling for the Winston Cup points lead. Only 109 separate Elliott and Allison. Elliott, of course, has the lead. Davy gets the position, however, from Bill, and Davy Allison now moves to 3rd as Ken Schrader also tries to pass Bill Elliott on the low side in turn 4.
These guys are really feeling their waist. Notice Schrader backed off, let Elliott go. There's just no point in taking a chance this early in the race to eliminate your chances of winning. Ooh, Bill Elliott comes down and comes across the front end of Schrader's car. Now here comes Harry on the inside of Schrader.
And Harry has come from 13th now all the way up to 5th.
He is definitely on the move. Since we talked about him just a moment ago, Bob, he's picked up about 4 positions. handling is the key here at Darlington, and that Oldsmobile always handles well.
That piece of tape waving on Schrader's car as he came down the front straightaway. Looks like one of the decals on the hood of the car has come loose, and that's waving as he goes down the straightaway.
Now Gant tries to take fourth from Elliott. That wasn't very hard.
Well, Elliott knew that Gant was faster. He had been coming up on him, and so he didn't put up much resistance. Not, as Benny says, not taking any chances at this point of the race.
Schrader now tries to take the spot away from Bill Elliott. Run him there on the straightaway, and so Schrader will hold on to fifth and Elliott fourth. Yeah, that piece of tape there on Schrader's car is blowing quite a bit.
You'd think it'd finally come off, but keeps on waving. And there is Davy Allison. I tell you, he might be the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He got by Bill Elliott, and he is on the move. He's gaining on Earnhardt, and also I think he's gaining on Sterling Marlin.
I think he might be too, Benny.
He's definitely gaining on Ernie Irvin.
Here's this battle. Kenny Schrader finally making a move on the inside of Bill Elliott. Here comes Brett Bodine. He wants to move around as well. There's Alan Kowicki. A couple of Fords moving around the Ford.
Jeff Bodine also another Ford back there behind Alan Kowicki. So Elliott has lost 4 or 5 spots here just in the last lap or two. And look at Jeff Bodine go right on by Kowicki.
The Bud Moore Motorcraft Ford that Jeff Bodine driving. Looks like it's handling well here in the early stages.
Bud Moore's cars always seem to run well here in Darlington. Of course, he's been coming here since 1950, I guess, which was the first year they came here.
He's been racing here for a long, long time. He's had some wins along the way.
The leader is now Sterling Marlin. Second is Irvin, and third is Davy Allison early in the 367 lap Mountain Dew Southern 500 from Darlington. Back at Darlington International Raceway, we're on top of the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, driven by Dale Earnhardt as he makes his way up through the field.
He just passed Darrell Waltrip the lap before, and now he goes by Bill Elliott.
So Bill dropping back in the pack. He's now back, Bill Elliott back to the
9th spot, 10th spot.
10th spot, yes.
And John Kernan has a comment on Waltrip.
See Darrell Waltrip sliding backwards ever so slightly. He was passed by Dale Earnhardt just moments ago. Darrell has radioed in and told Jake Elder and the crew that the car is very loose as he comes off the turn. He wants to put some wedge in the left rear when they come in and change 4 tires on their first pit stop. You know, a lot of the teams were concerned because they only had 15 minutes of practice yesterday. So you saw a lot of teams, a lot of the team members were scratching their heads. Well, maybe we'll try this spring, maybe that spring, this shock, that shock, this sway bar, that sway bar. A lot of question marks out there as far as handling. But it looks like those front 2 or 4 cars have hit it right on the money.
Well, Darrell drops back to 11th position. Mark Martin is the man on the move. He now goes into 9th position, and he started 25th.
And it's not easy to pass on this racetrack, and making that kind of move in the 27 laps that we've run here so far is very, very impressive.
And yesterday afternoon, he did the same thing in the Busch race. Started dead last, and in 36 laps took the lead. But today, Mark Martin has to pit on the back. Ned and I touched about it at the top of the show, and we're going to show you when you start making pit stops, green caution flag pit stop, what a disadvantage that Mark Martin has on the back.
Won't hurt him as far as green flag pit stops are concerned, but yellow flag pit stops, it will definitely be a disadvantage for him.
Our first Fram Field summary. For those of you not familiar with ESPN's motorsports coverage, we try to do this every 10 minutes at least to let you know where your favorite driver is running, and this is not several laps ago. This is the order as they cross the line last lap, a lap ago. Well, Davy Allison is definitely closing in on Ernie Irvin. Davy has performed well here in the early going. He is third. Here's Jerry Punch.
And Davy Allison Allison, most race drivers, like most athletes indeed, are quite superstitious. And we got to remember, back when Bill Elliott won the Winston Million in 1985, he had his number on the roof painted on upside down. When they built this brand new car for Davy, they likewise said, hey, we believe in superstition. We're going to put our number on upside down. It's supposed to face the inside of the track. And if you look at the top of the 28, it faces you guys on the outside.
How about that?
I would have never noticed that.
Davy has caught Ernie, but has not been able to pass him yet for a second.
What's the number on the roof for anyway, Ned? The scores in the stands so they can see that as they go by sometimes? They sit above the cars?
Yeah, especially on the super high banked racetracks. Yes, it does give them just another spot that they can pick up in case they can't see the number on the side.
What a year he's had. What a roller coaster year this boy has had.
Here's Brett Bodine trying to move up. 26 passing 25. Ken Stricker. Brett gets the job done at the end of the backstretch.
Takes over 6th place. Here comes Kowicki. Our 6th, 7th, 8th. 25 car. Kenny Schrader. The orange and white 7 is Alan Kowicki.
The Ford sandwich.
Kowicki started 9th, so he's staying right in the same area. 8th position. But there's Mark Martin. He's not staying in the same area. He continues to move up.
He was just amazing during that Busch race yesterday. Davy Allison takes second from Ernie Irvan.
And look, Harry Gant has caught this pack of cars, these 2 cars. We're looking at 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We talked about Davy might be the fastest car on the racetrack about 2 or 3 minutes ago. That might be Harry Gant right now.
The sun is shining brightly here in Darlington right now, so this racetrack sometimes can get a little slick as the race goes on, especially when the sun is shining down on this black asphalt and causes the cars to slip and slide a little bit. It's the kind of conditions we normally see here at Darlington on Labor Day weekend.
You know, the strange thing is, as we watch these cars, they look perfectly. They look like they're just handling perfectly. The cars look so stable, but they're not stable. These guys are really having to fight the wheel inside the race car, the drivers are.
Well, the Big A Auto Parts on-track interval will show you how Harry Gant is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack.
Jim Sauter in car number 71 got out of the way and let these guys go at it. Ernie Irvan got by Davy Allison. Allison didn't like that too much. He said, I believe this Ford belongs out front of that car at least. He puts her right back up there.
So meanwhile, while these fellas have been racing and trading this position back a couple of times, Sterling Marlin has pulled out to another 2nd or so advantage, so he's probably got a 2 or 3 second advantage now.
There we go. That's much better. Here's your Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. We timed laps 24 through 28, comparing the Marlin, the leader, and Harry Gant, who was coming up through the traffic. There you can see very clearly that the interval was closed from 3.6 seconds on lap 24 to 2.8 on lap 28. Gant on the move.
Yeah, about 2/10 of a second a lap. Yeah, he moves up on.
Yep.
Wow. Closes right up on the back bumper of that, and there we saw the car wiggle a little bit. That's the first time we see the car wiggle, and he started to lose the back end as it came off the corner.
And now we're on the rear spoiler of the Kodak Film Chevrolet.
See, Davy Allison had pulled away a little bit once he got back around, and here comes Gant. Boy, he makes that look easy.
Man, he just blew right by Ernie, and we can see Ernie's car getting looser and looser as he comes off the corner.
So now Harry Gant moves to 3rd. Look at this. Bill Elliott, on the other hand, is getting passed, and the caution flag comes out for the first time this afternoon. We look around the track quickly and don't see any car in trouble. Could be for debris on the racetrack. In any case, at 37 laps, the caution is coming out. Here's Jerry with the report on Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott had gone from 4th to 21st starting spot, and this caution is going to be a break for him. His car was getting so loose he couldn't drive it. In fact, they were thinking about making a pit stop and thought he might have a tire going down. So sometimes you better be lucky than good early in a race, and Elliott got a break with this yellow flag coming out. He had almost, within about another 7 or 8 laps, could have been left by his teammate, Sterling Marlin. But now he'll get a chance to pit and pour fresh tires. Bob?
Yeah, there are a lot of drivers out there that are glad to see this caution so they can come in and get some handling adjustments made.
And the funniest thing in the world, Doyle Ford, the official flagman from NASCAR, when he took the yellow flag out to start waving it, got it hung on the flagging stand and got it, and almost didn't get the caution flag waving.
Well, here they come down pit road. Everybody will be coming down pit road. Let's go to the pits and Jerry.
And a lot of activity here in the pits as Davy Allison comes in the pits. Everyone on pit road, down pit road. 28 on the bottom of your screen, 22 on top. A pair of Ford teams going at it. Right side on the 22, now the left side. Likewise, the left side of the 28 car, the Haviland Ford, trying to win $1 million. As finally Bill Elliott just now pulls in the pits, but you're watching Sterling Marlin's Junior Johnson team. Likewise, Robert Gant team. Marlin is out first, Davy's out second, and Harry Gant right behind him. Here comes Brett Bodine, and then Ernie Irvin as they all rush back to turn 1. We're under caution for the first time today here at Darlington Raceway. 38 laps complete. Lots more racing to come. Stay with us back after this.
ESPN Speed World today in Darlington, South Carolina for the Mountain Dew Southern 500. Under caution for the first time this afternoon. And the field comes down, and we'll look to see now they'll take at least one more lap under the caution. Sterling Marlin won the race out of the pits. Davy Allison will restart second. We're going to take another break while we can here, while the action is confined to the pit area, and be back with racing here at Darlington. Getting set for a restart here at Darlington. Bill Elliott had been going the wrong way to the back of the field before we had that caution, and Jerry can tell us why that was happening. Jerry?
I told you Elliott was lucky. Look how lucky he really was. This is what's left of his right rear tire. It had a nail hole in it, and the tire was going down, and it was literally ripping the rubber off the carcass inside. Now, this is not a defect in the Goodyear tire. Nothing wrong with the Goodyear. The tire was being deflated because it had a hole, and during deflation, it was literally ripping the rubber off. Elliott was maybe a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps away from biting the concrete. Back upstairs.
Well-timed caution period for Bill Elliott and for several others.
Man. Tell you what.
Back in 23rd position right now. And Vinny, you talked about Mark Martin pitting on the backstretch. What did he do? Went from 6th to
20th. 6th to 20th. He lost 14 spots by pitting on the back. And who got the black flag?
Somebody getting the black flag. It looks like Mike Potter, maybe, who has Lance sponsorship here. The Morgan McClure engine in his car.
Roof cam of Dale Earnhardt. Right behind Brett Bodine, running in 5th position. Dale is.
As Harry Gant closed up right on the back bumper of Davy Allison as it exited turn 2. I thought he was going to blow right by him, but now Davy is pulled out to about a car length advantage. There's Earnhardt on the inside of Brett Bodine.
Off of corner 4, they'll race down the straightaway. Here comes Ernie Irvin. 3 abreast down the straightaway into turn 1. What's going to give? Irvin passes both. Oh, boy. Wow.
Well, Brett Bodine wisely just backed out of that situation. So that's not the thing we're doing here right now.
Up front, a 3-car train involving Sterling Marlin, Davy Allison, and Harry Gant.
Davy Allison wants that 5 points. He's on the inside, but he backs off. Wisely backed off.
Yeah, that's the spot you can really get in trouble. You can pass there, as we just saw the last lap around, but you're taking a chance. There's Mike Potter in the Lance car, number 77, down on the inside.
New sponsorship on that car, Brett Bodine, Alan Kowicki, and Ricky Rudd. Now Rudd tries to pass Kowicki.
Kowicki tried to get alongside Brett Bodine up in the corner and lost some momentum, and that's because these other cars closed up on the back bumper. Here's Davy one more time trying it. Cannot get underneath that 22 car.
Same spot on the racetrack. He again looked to the inside in turn 4, but wisely backed off. Stayed in 2nd spot. Here's a great battle involving several cars. Rusty Wallace is right there in the middle of genuine draft Pontiac, car number 2.
Rusty.
Here's the action from the bumper cam as we look back on Brett Bodine and Alan Kowicki. Oh, they touched.
I'd hate to have my finger between those two cars.
There you go, mashed.
Rusty Wallace looks pretty racy today, guys.
He does. Now it is a 4-car train up front as Ernie Irvin has closed in on Harry Gant.
And Davy Allison doesn't want the lead so badly for $1 million today. It's for the $1 million at the end of the year. The Winston Cup Championship pays 5 bonus points to the lead. Just 1 lap, and he wants to get those points. Elliott hasn't received those 5 bonus points.
He could cut the advantage to 104 points. The lead that Bill Elliott has on Davy in the battle for the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup.
There are not many places on this racetrack you can pass, and you wonder, well, why would Davy Allison be taking a look every time they come off a turn 4? That's not one of the better places to pass, but I'm sure that he's detected that maybe that's the weak point of Sterling Marlin as he comes off there. Figures that might be his best shot. Marlin comes off a little lower this time. He might have learned something there.
We talked about Mark Martin and how, because he was pitting on the backstretch, had dropped from 6th back to 20th. Here is Bill Elliott, who is trying to work his way back up through traffic. And Mark Martin is at just ahead of Elliott and Kyle Petty.
See Hutch Strickland, Rick Mass, Bill Elliott.
There's Martin. He is 17th. Mark has moved up to 17th, right behind Derek Cope in the Purelator Chevrolet.
Mark before was able to drive under these cars right here and accelerate off. And he started on that, but he just couldn't quite accelerate the way he wanted to. Has to fall back.
If you've been keeping up with Winston Cup rumors, one rumor was put to bed this weekend as Mark Martin announced that he would stay with Jack Roush for next year. Here is a battle for the lead again, and this time Davy Allison will try down at the end of the racetrack between turns 1 and 2. He can almost pull alongside Sterling Marlin, but cannot do it.
Almost, but not quite. Yeah, the press release I read said that he was signed with Jack Roush through 1995. He will be the driver of the Valvoline Ford.
Gentlemen, as we saw the rundown there, we saw Jeff Bodine back in 31st position. He made a late pit stop just as the lap before the green flag came out, tightened the wheel or something that is bad as far as track position is concerned. All the way back
to about 5th or 6th, about 4th or 5th when the caution flag came out. So he's another car that lost a lot of ground. And then Davy Allison takes it.
He will get the lead now. On the backstretch, heading into turn number 3. Allison has the lead. Marlin's still right there, though. The crowd is on its feet. They are cheering wildly as he comes down the main straightaway. Davy will lead this lap, pick up the 5 bonus points. And a lot of people are sensing, yes, we could see the $1 million bonus handed out here this afternoon.
This car is good, but so is that number 33 you see in the picture there. And Harry again will be to reckon with before this race is over.
Here comes Sterling Marlin back now that Davy has received that 5 bonus points. He might just back off and ride behind these 3 or 4 cars. What did I say?
Well,
attaboy, David. Do just like I tell you to do, David. That's it.
The lead changes hands 3 times.
On the track you can't pass them.
All right. Boy, the first 4 are running right together like they're tied together with a chain.
I mean, we're talking about inches and hearts.
Allison, Marlin, Gant, and now Ernie Irvin shows his strength and takes over 3rd.
Just blows by Harry Gant.
And Bill Elliott is also moving up.
It's Hutch Strickland in Rebesta's Ford that he's passing. And here comes Rick Mast on the inside of Strickland. Kyle Petty will try the same move. Well, they got that guy at a disadvantage. They're just going to kill him, aren't they?
Got him hung up there.
Well, he moved into the 19th position, or 18th position there.
And once again, Sterling Marlin Marlin makes a bid to retake the lead down the backstretch, and look at Ernie Irvin. He wants the lead, and he will get it.
Wow, now he goes up, and Sterling's going to come back on the inside. How many times have we seen? Here comes Harry Gant, taking third spot away. Davy goes from leading to fourth in 1 quarter.
Yeah, and just a matter of a few feet. Allison back to fourth position. Now they're Marlin, Irvin, Gant, and Allison. Man, good racing.
This could be what this called is known as a barn burner here today.
We have the makings of one, that's for sure. Glad we took that commercial break there during that caution, or we'd have been in trouble. Well, they've settled down here a little bit now, so we will get a break in. But, boy, we've seen some great action in the first 55 laps of the Mountain Dew 500 from Darlington. Marlin now leads.
We welcome you back to Darlington, South Carolina, and the view you have right now, not a good one, particularly if you're Dale Earnhardt and the Goodrich Chevrolet driver. You see Goodrich Chevrolet driver Earnhardt is behind the wall, and let's kind of move in here and see if we can find out exactly what's going on. They are climbing beneath the car to work. Dale is still sitting in the car pulling the wheel. Dale, what happened? What's the problem?
I think clutch gone out of it. It started busting and slipping.
He's busy right now inside the car trying to pull some of the bonnet. They asked him to give him a couple of screwdrivers. He's going to try to pull the cover off the transmission. They are beneath the car. They will try to pull the transmission and fix the clutch. Can you believe it, guys? The kind of luck this team has had in 1992.
It hasn't been just one thing. They've had engine problems. They've had clutch problems. They've had just one problem after another.
It seems like the team is just right now snake bitten, I guess is the term I'm thinking of, but I don't know if that fits. But
now Elliott and Kyle Petty still running together on the racetrack.
They've changed that position several times in the last 5 or 6 laps.
At 17th and 18th, Elliott 17th and Kyle 18th.
Kyle Petty, another car that's having to pit on the back straightaway from a terrible qualifying lap. Qualified 30th. You remember back in the spring that he came down on the infield net and came off turn 4? He's trying the same thing again.
That car looks like it's handling well, especially down the low side of the racetrack. There again, just went around Ernie Irvin for 2nd place. Now Davy Allison trying to take over 3rd from Ernie Irvin. This car seems to go away a little bit after he runs a while on the tires.
Irvin's car you're talking about?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Irvin led the first 8 or 10 laps of the race, and then the car faded, and now we're about 8 or 10 laps since the last caution flag, and his car's starting to fade just a slight bit.
Ahead of these two guys, Gant, there in the middle of your screen, and on the left is the leader, Sterling Marlin. The pole sitter eligible for $53,200 worth of Unical bonus money. Go ahead. Here's Mark Martin and Dick Trickle running together. That would be, what, 9th?
That's for about 10th.
Yeah, Trickle's back to 10th. Dale Jarrett just passed him the last lap. Okay. And Mark Martin back up to 11th after coming out of the pits in 20th position.
Here he comes. Can't make the pass on Trickle.
Dale Earnhardt, while he isn't driving the car, will help repair it. He's as busy as anybody else trying to get that clutch fixed.
And he knows how to do that, too. He knows that race car.
What he's doing right now is taking the shifter off so they can slide the transmission back out of the clutch and put a new clutch in it as Mark Martin takes over the 10th spot from Dick Trickle.
A lot of speculation since we spoke of the silly season earlier, and Mark Martin, the fact that he's staying with Jack Roush. The Stavola brothers, the number 8 Snickers car. No driver has been assigned to that car definitely for 1993.
A lot of rumors floating, though, Bob.
A lot of rumors.
And the one that you hear most of all is that so who is going to drive that car next year?
Sterling Marlin.
We hear that Sterling Marlin might.
That's the rumor I hear most of all.
And that the sponsorship may be changed on it. But that's just part of the silly season. Schrader and Terry Labonte.
Sunoco, the sponsor on the 94 car, has decided they will not return next year. So Billy Hagan, owner, they're actively pursuing a new sponsor for 94.
Here's the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. That car has been performing well.
He just passed Ricky Rudd a couple of laps ago, so
he's in 7th right now, and he started 21st.
He is definitely moving.
Now his sponsorship is locked in with Miller, I believe, in 1996 or something like that. So we're in good shape as far as sponsorship is concerned.
Rusty and his team would stay in the same hotel we stayed here in Florence over the weekend, and I tell you what, they all seem to be in great spirits. I mean, seeing them in the restaurant and around, just the entire, they ate together, they stayed together, and it was really a team affair.
Now Harry Gant has closed in on Marlin, the leader. This is the battle for the lead.
Remember up in Michigan when Sterling said Harry stroked for that victory? What's Harry saying to that now?
Not exactly stroking right now, is he? No. But I'll guarantee you that Harry Gant's not punishing that race car yet. He's running it at a comfortable pace, and that might be bad news for the rest of the field.
Think what he's going to do when he starts moving fast. Huh?
Yeah.
In the spring, Harry Gant drove the tires off that car. Finished second to Bill Elliott.
What, didn't he have to stop one more time than Elliott or something like that, Ned?
They had a strategy of going 45 laps, coming in, put on 4 new tires, regardless of what was happening. And caution flag came out relatively late in the race, which caused him to have to make 2 pit stops as opposed to 1 for Elliott, and Elliott on gas mileage won the race.
And
here we go
Harry
for the
Gant
lead.
Looking for the lead. Coming off turn 2. They'll be side by side down the backstretch. And who will be the leader into turn 3? It will be Gant.
Now, is he going to go up the hill and Sterling getting under him? Well, Sterling thinks so. He's going to try it. Ooh.
No, backs off. Gant will pick up 5 bonus points, leading this lap.
And Harris, 4th in the point standings. He has a shot at this thing.
And he has won 4 times here at Darlington, dating back to 1983 and as recently as 1991. Harry Gant now leads this race after 69 laps. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons back at Darlington, South Carolina, where the Winston Million is on the line for Davy, Allison, and the Mountain Dew Southern 500. John Kernan and Jerry Puncher down on pit road, working the activity down there on a very hot and humid Sunday afternoon. The man of the day, however, at this point is Harry Gant. He started 11th, moved up to 9th at the end of 10 laps, was 4th at the end of 30, then was 3rd at the end of 50 laps, and on lap number 74 took the advantage.
Mr. September. We're at his time of the year, aren't we?
Yep, this is where it all began last year for Harry Gant when he won 4 in a row. Sterling Marlin running in 2nd spot, not too far behind. And here is Dale Jarrett passing Ricky Rudd. Dale's doing fine.
Dale's having a pretty good run, yeah. He had an excellent pit stop, a little over 20 seconds, which put him from, he was running in 17th position, put him up to 9th at that time.
And he is 9th right now as he passes Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, he dropped back about 3 or 4 positions and now seems to be picking back up a little bit.
That's Alan Kowicki ahead of Dale in 8th.
Got to give Mark Martin a call. He's back up to 7th again.
And working on Rusty Wallace up there for the 6th place.
There's Kowicki, the Hooters Ford. 3rd in the Winston Cup standings.
He and Harry Gant have been swapping 3rd and 4th, it seems, about every race. First one will be in 3rd, then the other. Kowicki 133 behind Bill Elliott, and Gant 195 behind Bill.
The 6th goes by Rusty Wallace, as we saw Dale Jarrett pass Alan Kowicki. So did Mark Martin pass Rusty Wallace. I tell you what, this Valvoline Ford is flying.
Yep,
really is.
He might be as fast as Harry Gant.
There's Brett Bodine.
Brett having a good run, sitting there in 5th position.
And the owner of that car, Kenny Bernstein, did you see what he did in Indianapolis yesterday?
No.
301.2 in his top fuel dragster, Kenny Bernstein. And by the way, today is Kenny's birthday. And I know he isn't watching, or at least regularly, because he's busy at the U.S. Nationals, but his driver's doing fine.
And folks, Bob Jenkins had his 52nd birthday on Friday.
Wait. Not quite that many. I'm not quite as old as you are, Benny.
Well, we're always saying happy birthday,
Well,
Bob,
that's
but this
right.
one was real, but
This was
wasn't.
for real, yeah. Ernie Irvin and Davy Allison.
That's third and fourth. The orange 4, Ernie Irvin is third. There's the fourth place car, Davy Allison. I don't know. I don't think I could hit the gas for $1 million. I really don't.
Yeah, you could. You wouldn't even think about it.
He's probably not thinking about it.
No, he's not thinking about that right now.
And a man of your money shouldn't think about that small a sum anyway.
Oh, yeah, right.
The Skull Bandit Oldsmobile of Harry Gant leads.
Gentlemen, we saw Alan Kowicki there a few moments ago when Dale Jarrett went by, and several other cars have gone by. He's really having a tough time down in turns 1 and 2. Kenny Schrader has gone by now. Dick Trickle has gone by, and Ricky Rudd went by. He's having a big problem on turn 2. Just can't get off that turn. But Harry Gant's not having any problems getting off any turn.
No, he's not having any problem at all.
Boy, you wonder what would happen if Harry Gant would have a September in 1992 that he did in 1991 when he came here and won the Southern 500 and then won the next 3 after that. In 1991, he had 1 win in the first 20 races. He was 10th in the points and 524 behind the leader. In 1992, he comes in with 2 victories under his belt, 4th in the points, and only 195 behind the leader. So if he has a September this year as he did last year, he could be the Winston Cup points leader.
He will certainly be in the thick of it.
He leads the Mountain Dew Southern 500 on a cloudy, overcast, very warm and humid day in Darlington, South Carolina. Harry Gant leads the Mountain Dew Southern 500 here at Darlington. Behind the wall, still working on the clutch, is Dale Earnhardt. GM Goodwrench Chevrolet is trying to be repaired so that he can get back out there in competition. Jimmy Hensley, the Trop Arctic car, is currently running in 23rd position. Jimmy, as he goes around this 1.3-mile racetrack at Darlington.
That's Andy Belmont that he's going by. Morgan Shepherd as he closes in on the back of Bud Strickland. And there we see telemetry in Morgan Shepherd's car as he comes off turn 4. I guess this is, yes. Touching the brakes a little bit, 148, 152. This should be the fastest part of the racetrack, 169.
And he backs off going into turn number 1. Well, we've got horsepower here this afternoon in this race. Coming up, more horsepower. And there's also a $1 million guaranteed purse for this. One of the great turf events in all of horse racing. The Budweiser Racing to the Breeders' Cup. That's from Arlington Heights, Illinois. That will be live right after our live coverage of this NASCAR Winston Cup event. So $1 million to this race if Davy Allison can win, and $1 million in that event.
Hey, there's got to be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Oh, yeah, Martin is just coming up through the field. He's already up to 4th. Michael Waltrip just made a pit stop in the Pennzoil Pontiac. We'll see other pit stops coming up here very shortly.
And let's go to Jerry Punch, who has a report on Mark Martin.
Almost unbelievable, Bob. Mark Martin came out into that pit stop, pitting in the backstretch in 29th position. He has moved all the way to 4th, and now has just gone by Ernie Irvin to take the 3rd spot away. You know, yesterday, those who watched the Busch race yesterday saw how Mark Martin was so hooked up so well. Jack Rouse told me this morning that they're hooked up equally as quick today. So watch for Martin to be a factor before the afternoon is over, as we got one car erupting in a plume of smoke here in the front stretch. Looks to be the Wally Dollarback car slowing in turn 1.
Wally takes it down to the apron of the racetrack in turn number 1, and will have to make his way back here to the front stretch because he is pitted here on the main straightaway. And here's what happened as he came off of turn 4.
I don't think he lost it up coming off turn 4 and slapped the wall. Looks like he might be a little flat on that right side. I wonder if he's hit the wall now. We'll be around in a minute. We'll see.
Yeah, he'll bring it on around. He's down on the inside of the racetrack trying to get around. He's going to go at least a lap down. Now he brings it into the pits. Well, he had a good run going here.
He sure did.
But unfortunately, he's going to lose a good bit of time now.
I think he's got a Darlington stripe on there. Is that not flattened?
Yeah, it sure is. A little paint rubbed off the 16, too. 29 cars are on the lead lap with Harry Gant. And now Harry comes up and will put a lap on Richard Petty, who is running 28th.
This is the longest green flag run we have had. We've had one caution. Richard Petty would like to see another one right now.
Their second place Marlin.
And Petty really slows. He's going to go into the pits now.
Yeah.
Once Harry came up and put him a lap down. It's pit stop time. There's going to be a number of, in fact, all of them will be making pit stops, I think, here within the next 10 laps.
And here is the battle for fourth place. Irvin and Davy Allison. Now, there's Petty pitted on the backstretch. Wally Dallenbach's service has been completed here on the front stretch. He's back out there on the racetrack. They're making a chassis adjustment on that car.
Yeah, they did.
We talked about Wally Dallenbach. Here's what happened to him. He comes off turn 4. This is from Jimmy Inslee's car. Looking back at him. He comes off the corner, gets the car out of shape, corrects it.
Ooh, boy.
It goes in, hits the wall, goes down. It does a great job not to go all the way around.
Yes, he does.
Good shot there from our bumper cam.
Here's 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yep, Brett Bodine is right in there among the mix, and Harry Gant drops down off the 23-degree banking and heads for pit road. This is a regularly scheduled stop for Harry Gant.
55 miles an hour, the speed limit on pit road.
This pit stop coming at lap number 92. Jerry Punch will call the pit stop as Harry Gant gives up the lead.
And the same Oldsmobile that was so dominant a year ago comes to pit road for its first green flag stop of the day. What should be the first in a series of leaders pit stops. They have changed right side tires, and folks, they are obligated now to change left side tires because they were showing a lot of tire temperature after their first pit stop under the caution. Windshield has been cleaned. Go rule. Tighten all the run nuts. Gant is away. Now as Gant leads, coming down pit road comes the Sterling Marlin car. The Maxwell House Ford Thunderbird, but behind him, Ernie Irvin, Davy Allison, and Dale Jarrett. As we said, all the leaders will be making their pit stops here because of the concern over possible tire wear. Irvin is in. Marlin is in. And the Haviland crew and Davy Allison go to work. We would expect to see 4 tire changes on all 3 of those cars. Take a look at Joey Knuckles changing the right side tires. They're coming around the left side of Davy Allison's Haviland Ford. Left side tires going on. Very deliberate pit work. This crew does not want to make a single mistake and lose a chance at that Winston Million. Marlin is out first, Davy is out second, and Ernie Irvin still sits on pit road. Finally, Irvin gets the car fired, and very slowly, as they're pushing the car, they are trying to fire the car. Ernie Irvin's Kodak Chevrolet is not firing. He has trouble, now he is away, but Mark Martin is pitting in the backstretch in front of John Kernan.
Jerry Mark pulls in. There will be a 4-tire change. He was going to come in around lap 101, but as you might imagine, with the way the tires have been slowing down, the way this rough old racetrack has been eating them up, monkey see, monkey do. As soon as you see those leaders and those front-running cars come in, you have no choice but to come in yourself and put on 4 tires. Right sides are already on. They come around to the left side. It's a pretty good-looking pit stop on the way for Mark Martin as he is down and away.
20.3-second pit stop for Mark Martin. Davies was 20 seconds even. Ricky Rudd's Tide Chevrolet is on pit road as they work on the left side of that car.
Of course, he had taken the lead when those in front of him had pitted, Bob.
Now he roars out of the pit area.
And Bill Elliott, I think, maybe would be the leader, but
yep.
And he'll get those 5 bonus points by just simply staying out. Well, I'm not sure if he's stayed out, if Davy Allison had passed him. So, I don't know, we'll have to check and see if he actually did lead the race or what the situation was. He probably did.
I think he did lead the race.
And Kyle Petty is slowing down in turn 2, coming down off the banking, and Kyle will make a pit stop. John Kernan still back there.
Well, if you're pitting on the backstretch, you would much rather see green flag pit stops. You don't lose any, you don't have any disadvantage as you do under caution. The Mellow Yellow crew waiting Kyle to pull into his pit stop. Will be another 4-tire change. Kyle has moved all the way up to second on the leaderboard just moments ago. Right side going up, the jack's going up. They will also make a chassis adjustment in the right rear as the car has been just a little bit loose. Right side's already on. They've jacked up the left side. Tires flying on. There we go with the air wrench, the gun, and now the fuel. Kyle Gunton goes away. Now to the front stretch where Bill Elliott is pitting and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Elliott, a 4-time winner here at the famed Darlington Raceway, including 1985. He saw at the top of the show when he picked up the first and only Winston Million. Now the Budweiser crew getting set for Bill Elliott's pit stop. We might mention that Ernie Irvin's problems moments ago was a transmission problem. They are trying to decipher what the problem is as we watch the Budweiser crew now go to work on Elliott's Ford Thunderbird. Elliott hoping to be able to hold on to that Winston Cup point lead. Right side tires going on. Left side lug nuts have been taken off. They have cleaned the windshield. Daryl Andrews, Tim Brewer, Mike Hill and the crew now putting left side tires on. Junior Johnson now helps with the left front. All lug nuts are tight. 22 seconds even as the car number 11 heads back to turn 1.
Fellas, let me correct myself. I wondered if Bill Elliott had taken the lead. Yes, he had taken the lead, of course, by staying out there. And Davy Allison had passed him when he came back out. Davy had unlapped himself from Bill Elliott at that point. And here's the car number 55, Ted Musgrave, the Jasper Engine car, who had just taken the lead as a result of staying out there. So he's in for his pit stop now.
Here's a guy that's staying pit for 1993. And John Kernan will call this pit stop.
Ted Musgrave pulls into his pit. They will go to work. It'll be, as we've said all day long, a Ford tire change. It looks like the car might be just overheating just a little bit as we see a little spray coming out from under the hood. They have a lot of buildup on the front grille from the rubber and stuff that's out there on the racetrack. They got to try and get that cleaned up. And you see that water coming up on the right side next to the windshield. Right side's rolling on, left side's going on. Remember the great run this guy had at Michigan? He hopes to repeat that today. And now here's away. 27 seconds.
That's considerably slower than what we saw from Mark Martin and Davy Allison. About 7 seconds slower, as a matter of fact. Gant has the lead once again, as all of those who are running up front have made their regularly scheduled pit stops. Harry Gant now gets the lead back in the Southern 500 after 101 laps. Welcome back to Darlington, where the race fans are watching the Southern 500. And today's race includes the Gillette Halfway Challenge Contest. $10,000 to the driver leading the halfway lap, and a lucky fan at home could win a new Chevrolet Lumina Z34. If you've entered the contest for this race and your entry is selected, you're called at home. You must name the driver who won the Gillette Halfway Challenge to win the car. Now, if you want to enter the contest for next week's Miller Genuine Draft 400 at Richmond, that will be on Saturday night, September 12th. Write to Gillette Halfway Challenge, Post Office Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida 33731-2246. You must be 18 years of age or older to enter. We must receive your entry by Friday night, September the 11th, to be eligible for the next Gillette Halfway Challenge.
And nothing has changed. Harry Gant still leading the race.
Has himself a fairly comfortable lead over Sterling Marlin, who is running in second place. In fact, it's about 3 7/10 seconds. There's Marlin coming off the turn.
And we saw that white car, the hood of that white car just coming into the ago. That's Mark Martin, and he is working with himself up to third place.
Davy Allison fourth as we show you another Fram Field summary. Dale Jarrett had a great pit stop, Ned, and moved up to fifth.
Yeah, 19.9. I clocked him, so the Interstate Batteries crew really getting the job done today.
Bill Elliott has fallen back to 11th position. 19 cars on the lead lap as Bobby Hillen, who's running in 20th, is a lap down and on back through the field.
Ernie Irvin came out of the pits. We documented the problems that he had on his pit stop, and he was not far in front of Harry Gant from going a lap down, but he's pulled away from Gant a little bit now, so he's safe by about 3 or 4 seconds from going a lap down.
Second place, Sterling Marlin. And now showing you the interval between second and third place, Mark Martin.
Mark's car. His Winston Cup car looks as well as his Busch car did yesterday, doesn't it, man?
Yes, it does. Mark Martin drives this racetrack well and apparently knows how to set a race car up to get around here, because his Busch car yesterday was absolutely dominant. He didn't win the race, but he was the fastest car on the track. Here's Davy Allison, currently running in 4th position.
You can see the clouds overhead of Darlington. It's quite dark in some areas, leading to the speculation of the possibility, at least, of rain before this thing is over.
There you go again, mentioning that word.
I know, but it seems like that's something that they would have to consider here.
I mean, you mentioned to pulled Bill Elliott a minute ago, and he lost 3 spots.
Mr. Jinx, right?
Yeah, Mr. Jinx. And there's Dale Jarrett, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet.
He's currently 5th, and then a battle for 6th back behind him as we see Jarrett coming back up on Richard Petty. Now, Richard made that pit stop. We saw him a little bit ago. He came out and blew Dale Jarrett off. Went on for a little bit, but now Jarrett's come back up on him once the newness gets off those tires.
And there is Rudd and Brett Bodine, who are battling for that position.
Matter of fact, Rudd just took the position away from Brett Bodine just a lap ago. That's 6th and 7th we're seeing on the screen. Ricky Rudd in 6th, Brett Bodine 7th.
Now, you wonder why that Bill Elliott, Darrell Waltrip, some of these guys that get so good fuel mileage, why they didn't stay on the racetrack. The tire, the speed drops off so quickly that Harry Gant, the leader, went in the pits. In 10 laps, he could almost put a half a lap on these guys if they stayed out on those old tires. So as soon as that leader goes in and gets fresh tires, in self-defense, they've got to do the same thing.
8th and 9th right here, Ken Schrader and Rusty Wallace. Here's John Kernan.
Well, you know, it has not been exactly the greatest of years for Rusty Wallace. And today, crew chief Buddy Parrott hopes that he's come up with the right combination. He said that they think they've got the car set up where Rusty will like it. As the race goes on, they think the track's going to come to them. But more importantly, Buddy told me that they're running a little more gear than everybody else. He says, hey, we're not out here running for points today. We're running for the win. If we don't get it, we're going to be very, very disappointed.
One of 5 drivers who won a race last year, but has not won a race this year. In fact, both of these guys, Rusty Wallace and Ken Schrader, are on the no-win list for 1992.
Schrader back in, got a little bit loose as he came off that second corner.
Kicked out a little bit going off the turn on the Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolets. Kodiak, the sponsor.
Rusty closing in now here on the straightaway.
Well, Rusty really got off that 4th corner well, didn't he?
Yep. And look who's coming back out. This is the roof cam on the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet driven by Dale Earnhardt. He was in the clutch for many, many laps with clutch problems. And here is Wallace and Schrader, and now Wallace will take the position. And look at this, Dave Marcus in the Kellogg's car.
Just comes up and blows Schrader off as well. Dave Marcus having a good run here. Is he a lap down?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a lap down to these cars, so that's not for position.
And a disappointing debut with the Hedrick team last year when he crashed, but he's doing well today. Now Harry Gant comes up and is about to put a lap on Morgan Shepherd, who is being shown in the 19th position.
That would leave 18 cars on the lead lap. Every time Harry can lap a car, that helps Mark Martin. We talk about Mark pinning on the back. There we go. Quickie going by Terry Labonte, taking that spot away. What's that for, 11th?
Yep.
Oh, here comes Earnhardt with those fresh tires. See what I was talking about? How much faster the cars are with fresh tires? Watch Earnhardt as he blows by those cars.
Sure did. Their doors are gone.
Thank you, Dale. You can show. You told these people exactly what I was trying to say. They said pictures worth 1,000 words. I agree with that.
That was it. Schrader now, Gant approaching a whole bunch of traffic. Morgan Shepherd and Jeff Bodine and Hud Strickland.
Yep, they're all fighting to stay on the lead lap. There are the 3 cars. As Hutt moves to the inside, lets Bodine go by on the outside. A trio of Fords trying to hold off that Oldsmobile. Harry Gant, though, showing patience. He's not going to take any chances to lap them. Yes, he wants to lap them, but he doesn't want to take any chances of getting fouled up by doing it.
Crowd still on its feet. They haven't sat down yet.
I think they're all wanting to help Davy spend that $1 million.
By the way, Davy Allison, who is going for the Winston Million today, is running in 4th position to Gant, Marlin, and Martin. We'll be right back. Yesterday's Busch Grand National race here at Darlington, you saw live yesterday, won by Michael Waltrip, was run at record pace, and we're on record pace here in the Winston Cup event by some 3 miles an hour. Gant is having some difficulty passing these cars, putting a lap on them, and there is Sterling Marlin in second position, and now Mark Martin begins to close in on Sterling.
He has caught him. Sterling had a pretty good margin over there for a while.
And a Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. Look at this, laps 107 through 11, and you can see that Mark Martin is indeed, generally speaking, faster, about 0.2 of a second.
About 0.2 of a second. He gained 0.8 of a second in those 5 laps, but all in all, I'd say he's about 0.2 of a second faster than Harry Gant. And Gant has problems now, as Ned said, trying to get by those slower cars. And look how Mark Martin closes up on Sterling Marlin.
This is the battle for second position. Mark Martin to the inside of Sterling in turn 2. Marlin goes up to 25 degrees of banking, and Mark Martin comes out of the corner with the position, getting a little loose coming out.
Yeah, wiggled it back in just a little bit on the valve forward, but moves away.
Now Mark Martin, who started way back in 25th position, is up to second.
What a demonstration he's putting on today.
Now, Harry Gant, we said he was having a little trouble passing those cars. He has put Hut Strickland a lap down. You can see the 12th car. He moved around Wally Dallenbach, who's back out there. We saw him having some problems a little bit earlier. Wally is back out there. There's Morgan Shepherd now. Gant is moving up on him. Now, when he heard us saying, well, he's having problems, he said, well, I'll show you guys. I'm going up there and pass him. Well, don't know. He just quickly moved around Hut Strickland and was pulled away from him, but Morgan Shepherd and Jeff Ludine still out there in front of him.
Morgan is 18. So the pace of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 is a quick one. Over the track record right now, but things have settled down fairly quietly here as Harry Gant continues to hold on to this lead. So we'll take a break and be back with more from Darlington, South Carolina. A Labor Day weekend tradition since 1950. This is the 43rd annual Southern 500, sponsored by Mountain Dew from Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. And we're glad you could join us live for our Speed World coverage, being brought to you by GMC Truck, the strength of experience. By Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And by Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go. Harry Gant is leading the Southern 500 as we watch from inside of Morgan Shepherd's car. You can see the clouds overhead, and a few laps ago you guys laughed at me when I talked about the strategy that may be employed here because of the possibility of rain. But Doc, there's one team that's thinking about that, huh?
You're exactly right, Bob. In fact, Harry Gant doesn't say much on the radio, but let me show you what his crew chief, Andy Petrie, just wrote down in front of him on his notepad. Right here it says, we now have to race rain. Now, believe me, they are watching the clouds and watching the front move in as Harry Gant continues to lead here. They know what it takes to win. You not only have to be good, you got to be lucky. And they're watching the skies, guys.
Now the clouds are moving in and the temperature is dropping, so there is a front approaching.
He's also watching Mark Martin. Harry Gant is in his rearview mirror because Martin has caught him.
You guys quit talking about the rain.
Well, it's something you have to think about, Benny. Mark Martin started 25th, was up to 9th by the 30th lap, continued to move up until he received the second place at the end of 131 laps, and now he's within 3 or 4 car lengths. Here's John Kernan.
Don't be surprised if you see Mark turn up the heat quite a bit. Steve Neal radioed in and said, hey, we're looking at rain in a short while. Why don't you try and take that car to the front? And he's closing in on Harry Gant. He's been closing in the last few laps.
In terms of a complete race, it would be considered a full race if we passed 1 lap over the halfway point, which would mean we'd have to go 185 laps. We're on lap 132 as Steve Neal from the Mark Martin crew watches his driver now really put the heat on Harry Gant and make a bid for the move down the backstretch easily. Mark Martin is the leader of the Southern 500.
Yeah, Harry just backed off and let him go once he got up the side of it there. Now, Mark wants those 5 bonus points, too, because he's sitting up there where? In 5th place in the point standings? Yeah, that 5 points might mean a lot. So he gets them.
Yes, he does.
There's Peggy Gant, Harry's wife.
Saying, well, he doesn't have the lead right now, but the race isn't over yet.
She realizes these 500-mile races are a long, long ways. There's the leader, Mark Martin. Harry Gant second. Sterling Marlin is third. And well, anyway, here, why don't we just show you how
there you go. Yep. Another Fram Field summary. Here's Rusty Wallace and Bill Elliott, 9th and 10th, as you can see. Elliott pulling alongside.
We're into turn 3. Kyle Petty right behind him.
Elliott sliding into 9th position, and John Kernan has another report on Rusty Wallace's car.
Well, Rusty Wallace, I told you about how they were running just a little bit more gear than everyone. They also thought that tires would be a very important part of today's race, as we have seen. So how many sets did they have? They started the weekend with 15. They used 3 in practice. They had 12 brand new sets of tires to use for this race. And that was among the top teams, guys. But, hey, with the way these clouds are rolling in here, I don't know if they're going to get a chance to use all 12 sets.
At how much per set?
$1,000 per set.
Wow. Kyle Petty takes the spot away from Rusty Wallace.
And he also has 12 sets of new tires ready to go on. And any other team that you want to show a car going around the racetrack. So it takes a lot of tires, a lot of money to run a race here at Darlington. Kyle Petty, another car that's hitting on the back straightaway. As I said, I think I've said earlier, he qualified 30th for the Southern 500.
And his dad started 31st. And now Kyle is in 10th, and his dad Richard is in 27th. Mark Martin, yep, he's the leader. Valvoline Ford.
Look, he's already pulled out to about a second advantage over Harry Gant. And where is third? Way back there is Sterling Marlin. Right, he just went by our picture. There's a 4th place car, Davy, and a crash down at turn 1.
It's like Chad Little has hit the wall along with Jeff Bodine.
Yeah, Jeff Bodine is involved right in front of the leader, Mark Martin. Martin got slowed down, and Morgan Shepherd is going to try to get a lap back. We'll watch that as Martin has slowed, and Morgan Shepherd really coming up on him right now.
Here's
trying
Morgan
to get a lap back. He goes high into the turn, and Mark Martin's going to let him.
Yep.
Well, the Wood brothers and Jack Rouse work very closely together on a lot of things. They're good friends, and that could be a little friendship being paid off to.
A little Ford strategy, too, perhaps.
Yep.
That could be worth a lot of money to Morgan Shepherd.
Yep, sure could be.
All right, the car that hit the wall the hardest is at the bottom of the racetrack between turns 1 and 2. Jeff Bodine continued on. There is Chad Little in the Melling car. And here is a replay. Our cameras were following it. That's Terry Labonte. A little contact between the two, and Chad drives it up the hill and boom, into the wall.
He locked the brakes. You can see the marks, and there Jeff Bodine just clipped him in the Motorcraft Ford and couldn't get it back under control. So he slides it around. Don't think there's too much damage to Jeff Bodine's car, but you can see a lot of damage to the car number 9 of Chad Little.
Safety crew is right there as the field is now behind the pace car.
We're going to see what a disadvantage it is for a leader, Mark Martin. He could not come in the pits because he's pitting on the back. Here comes all the guys on the lead lap. Look at them. All these fellows will start in front of Mark Martin when they restart.
Gant, Marlin, Allison, Jarrett, Rudd, Brett Bodine.
Look on the right side of the screen. Nobody there. Come on, Mark, where are you? I'm following the pace car, guys. I'll be there in a while. Jarrett Bunch, to you.
And they've already changed right side tires on most of the guys in the front stretch. Now left side tires going on the Harry Gant car as they're just now beginning to enter the back pits over there. Harry Gant's crew has already completed his service, and the Skull Oldsmobile is down and headed back to turn 1. As Mark Martin makes his way to the pits, let's go to John Kernan. John?
Jerry, he is still making his way to the pits. Mark will come in, and here's something that's just a little bit odd. Not only is he coming in for tires, Mark has his helmet off. He wants a new helmet with a new shield on it, so they're going to have to get him a helmet and hand it over to him just as soon as they have they will have to take it along to the right side, hand a new helmet into Mark. He will put that on, so this is something that I don't think I've ever seen, a 4-tire change plus a hat, a new hat for the driver. But, you know, a lot of the guys on the front stretch pitch have already gotten their service and heading back out. Mark is coming out as I see Bill Elliott and Ken Schrader have already made their way. And here comes Darrell Walker. So Mark losing a lot of valuable spaces down here on pit road.
Now the back pits become empty once again, and those that weren't on the lead lap that are pitted here on the front stretch come in for their work. Dale Jarrett doing well here. He's the leader of the Southern 500.
We welcome you back to Darlington, South Carolina. Telling you a few moments ago about Mark Martin changing helmets. Well, this is why. This is his old helmet. See the difference? He had a very thick smoke shield on the face shield. Now with the clear helmet, you can see quite the difference. And with all the cloud cover moving in, Mark needed to see the racetrack. Guys?
Looking at you, John. I'd rather see you through this. All right, here we go. The green flag is out, and we are back to racing after our second caution flag. Dale Jarrett is the leader of the race. That crew is doing magnificent work. He was in and out that last time a little over 18 seconds.
Bobby Hillen gets back one of his laps. I don't know how many Bobby was down, but he moved around Jarrett going into the turn. Now Harry Gant coming up on Jarrett.
Also, Derek Cope, the Pure Leader Chevrolet, has gotten by Dale Jarrett.
Both of those were only one lap down, so they're now back on the tail end of the lead lap. Dark skies.
Not sure if that was a NASCAR official down there sticking his elbow over the race.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I wouldn't want to be down there.
Me either.
Gant is second. Davy, Allison third. Jerry Punch has a report on pit road of some more tire wear.
Well, these tires are worn completely out, but it's no fault of the Goodyear tire. This is what's left of the right side tires from Jeff Bodine's Motorcraft Ford that was spun and was involved in an incident. The tires completely ripped apart, but the inner liner held up. On both these tires, that's what enabled Bodine to make it back to pit road for a scheduled pit stop under the caution. Back upstairs.
I think that's what you call flat spotting.
That is definitely a flat spot. There we see Dale Jarrett trying to go by. Jerry Cope trying desperate to keep in the lead lap. Goes down to the inside. Here's Davy Allison trying to win that $1 million, and that was close.
Yep, sure was.
Here comes Harry again, trying to look on the inside of Jarrett.
Down into turn one. No, Harry. Davy and Harry very close together.
So Dale Jarrett's car is pushing just a little bit in the center of that corner, but then he gets a bite and really comes off the corner and heads down the backstretch. And here's Davy Allison trying to take over second.
From Harry Gant. Davy gets second.
And here comes Ricky Rudd. Harry Gant's lost his momentum. Is Rudd going to try to make a pass as well? Davy comes off that corner. That's Andy Belmont. He closes up on.
We got less than 40 laps to the halfway point. Some big dark clouds are ominous.
Look at Gant.
Here is Gant again going into second place. And now look at Rudd.
Yeah, Dallas has lost his momentum. Is Rudd going to try to get by him?
Bill Elliott is also right there.
That's the best we've seen Elliott run today.
Yep. Rusty Wallace will come and join the group now.
Meanwhile, Mark Martin went back to about 10th spot on that caution flag. He went in the pits on the back pit and came out in about 10th, and he's currently running 8th, so he's closed up the second position.
Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth again right there.
There's the race for the lead. Gant's moved in on the back bumper of Dale Jarrett.
Didn't take him too long to catch him once he got back around. Davy Allison.
Dave Marcus makes it 3 abreast down the backstretch. Look at this.
Ooh.
Oh, he's in trouble with Hut Strickland. Oh.
Boy, Hut got out of it just in time. That could have been deep trouble there. Mark Martin backed off going into the turn. He didn't want to go in there 3 abreast.
Dave Marcus is feeling racy in that Kellogg's car, number 41. This is the one that Greg Sachs drove early this year. Look at the stripe on the side of that. And there's an even bigger stripe on the opposite side of Hud Strickland's car. Here is first and second. Jarrett with just a couple of car lengths advantage now on Harry Gant. And it now
Here comes Harry.
Closes to 0, and as a matter of fact, Gant has the lead coming out of the 4th corner.
What Harry's car is working. That chassis is working so well this afternoon.
And it's particularly fast on new tires. I've noticed that Davy Allison's car also works very good on new tires. Now, when they ran the long run, I was putting the clock on them, Jared, in relation to when Harry was leading the race. After they ran about 15 or 20 laps, where Jared could stay at about the same distance. But with the new tires, he couldn't stay there quite as well. Here's Mark Martin trying to move on the inside of Dave Marcus, but he backs off a little bit. Then Marcus gives him the room, so he comes on up there again. Close racing.
It is close racing. Now, Hud Strickland's going to try to go on the inside of Dave Marcus.
Well, Marcus, he wants to come on the inside of Mark Martin.
There's a lot of paint missing on the left side of that 12 car, isn't there?
Now, red in the mellow yellow Pontiac goes in on the back bumper of Dick Trickle.
And Davy Allison now is right on the rear spoiler of Dale Jarrett. Second, third, and fourth here. Rudd hanging in there in 4th.
Meanwhile, Harry Gant has gotten by Jerry Coe, put him a lap down.
And moving up on Bobby Hillen. Bobby Hillen running the 800 number, the Red Cross Disaster Relief Hurricane from Hurricane Andrew here this afternoon. Martin Bahrain, the team, they don't have a major sponsor on that car, so they're running the 1-800-842-2200 number. Relief for
the victims of Hurricane Andrew in southern Florida. And Alabama. Louisiana. Yeah. There's Kyle Petty.
Goes down in turn 1.
Running 10th.
There's Trickle, Alec Kowicki. Trickle's car looks pretty good coming off the corner. Close up on the back bumper. And there's the winner last week, Darrell Walter, behind Kyle Petty.
What's the line that Kyle will use in the 3rd and 4th corners?
He has been running lower than most everyone else. There you go. Look how low he gets. Gets the left wheels all the way down below the white line.
On
it
the
works for him.
Yeah.
He did that in the spring. Remember, he got all 4 tires out on the flat. I thought he'd crash, and that was his groove or line.
Harry Gant now on the inside of Bobby Hillen going into turn 3, where he was, but he's not going to be able to make the pass if you watch Kyle Petty and Dick Trickle.
As we watch all this, Sterling Marlin, guys down the pits, he had a long pit stop the last time. I don't know why, but he's way back in the pack.
Marlin, the pole sitter's back in 13th position. And now Harry Gant pulls up to put a lap on Bobby Hillen in the Southern 500 from Darlington International Raceway. Back in a moment. We're getting closer to the halfway mark. If you've entered the Gillette Halfway Challenge and are called at home and can name the driver who will win the Gillette Halfway Challenge Award, you will win a new Chevrolet Lumina. If you want to enter the contest for next week's Miller Genuine Draft 400 at Richmond, that is on Saturday night, the 12th. Write to Gillette Halfway Challenge, Post Office Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida 33731-2246. You must be 18 years of age or older to enter, and we must receive your entry by Friday, September the 11th, to be eligible for next week's Gillette Halfway Challenge.
And Ricky Rudd takes the 3rd spot away from Davy Allison and Bill Elliott. Davy's worst nightmare is right behind him. He thought he was going to gain some points because Elliott had trouble early. It looks like Tim Brewer, those guys have adjusted the car, and here Elliott is right back in the race.
And you got to take your hat off to Rusty Wallace, who's at the back of that pack. But now here's Davy making a bid for the position again in turn 1 and taking it from Ricky.
Meanwhile, Harry Gant is just driven on away from him. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Schrader gets in the picture at 6th.
And 7th.
And 7th. Rusty Wallace in the picture.
Davy Allison going awfully high. His line is very, very high down in 3 and 4. And we can see he's losing a little momentum down in that corner by that extremely high line he's taking.
2 cautions so far today, still on record pace. The record is 135.4, and the average speed of this event so far is 136.4. Just a little over 20 laps to the halfway point.
Watch how high that Davy Allison is. See how much lower these other cars are than Davy Allison?
Certainly a dramatically different line from the one we saw Kyle cut a while ago.
Oh, yes. The Kyle and Davy could run through there wide open, and their crews would never touch. I talked just a moment ago about Sterling Marlin, the 22 car. He was in this race up front. Jerry Punch, what in the world happened to Sterling?
Danny, Mike Beam told me they had a lug nut hang up in the socket when they were changing the front tire, and that caused them a lengthy delay in the pits. That's not bad. It was just costing some time on pit road. However, the news for Ernie Irvin isn't quite so good. A moment ago, NASCAR came over to talk to the Kodak crew, and we've noticed a little smoke out on the back of the 4 car. And they said, remember, we had that problem leaving the pit road earlier with the transmission. We think we have a crack in the transmission. In fact, they've even pulled jack stands and a new transmission behind the wall, getting ready to bring Ernie in if it should give up and change the transmission. So they're holding their breath and have their fingers crossed right now in the Kodak pits.
Sterling 12th and Irvin is 13th. We'll watch for that for you Wally Dallenbach fans. His car is on pit road being worked on. Here's Gant still leading.
He has about a 2 3/10 second lead over Dale Jarrett.
Again, has done the clean racetrack in front of him, and Dale Jarrett awfully close to that outside retaining wall.
Sure was.
And Belmont on the apron of the racetrack as Jarrett goes by the Interstate Chevrolet.
Dale Jarrett's best finish here at Darlington was back in 1988 when he finished 12th in the spring race. There's Davy Allison working through a little bit of slower traffic. That's Derek Cope being lapped. Also putting a lap on Derek is Ricky Rudd.
Tell you what, these cars awfully close. Bill Elliott in that group. Schrader, Rusty Wallace.
On the tail end of this pack.
There's Mark Martin.
Mark Martin.
Well, he just keeps catching them, and he keeps getting back in those pit stops because of getting on the back stretch, but he keeps coming back.
Mark is another driver who has never won the Southern 500 here at Darlington. As a matter of fact, has never won either race at this old facility, but his best finish in this event was in 1989 when he was runner-up.
Like he and Rusty Wallace running about the same tracks coming off the corner, so it's very difficult to pass.
Gary Cope making room for Bill Elliott and Schrader. About 15 laps now from the halfway point. Ooh, Elliott high off the corner. Now Schrader is going to pass him.
That's right. Elliott is trying to go by Derek Cope, which opens the spot up for Schrader.
Here comes Rusty Wallace down on the inside. He saw a little bit of an opening. Ooh, he and Elliott's going to get together.
Boom, second time.
Elliott just backed out right there.
That looked like what happened to Gant in yesterday's Grand National race when he took a high line coming off the corner. He admitted there wasn't any contact between the two cars. He just got up in the loose and banged the wall pretty hard. As these guys touched, Wallace and Elliott coming off 4, not once but twice.
At least 2 love taps as they actually turned 4.
And Elliott just backed off the throttle there a little bit. Gave up the position to retain his race car.
Martin's trying to get on the inside of Rusty Wallace, trying, can't get alongside. And he and Rusty, as I said before, are running the same groove, basically. So every time that Martin's car, he goes to the bottom of the racetrack, there's Rusty. Now he's going to try it down the straightaway. But it looks like that extra gear that Rusty Wallace has in his car that John Kerner talked about is able to propel him down the straightaway quick enough to stay in front of Mark Martin. Meanwhile, he goes by Derek Cope.
And Elliott closes in on Martin. And the separation between those guys and the 33 car. And the 33 car is driven by Harry Gant, who, after 170 of 367 laps in the Mountain Dew Southern 500, is the leader. Hey, they've got nothing on the jockey cam. We've got a jockey cam too on the roof of Morgan Shepherd's Citgo Ford, and we've also got the telemetry for you.
We can tell how fast this horse is running. Let's see how fast. 154, 57, 68, 70, 171 miles an hour.
Down to 118, looked like was his bottom speed before he began to pick it back up.
That was in turns 1 and 2. There he is now, heading into turn 3. Morgan Shepherd in the Citgo Ford. A few tire marks on the side of that car.
He's 15th.
Remember, he was a lap down, and that last caution flag, Mark Martin, the leader, slowed for the caution, and Morgan Shepherd had to get that lap back.
A while ago, we were talking about Sterling Marlin and Ernie Irvin, who have both had their mechanical problems here. Well, they're running together out there, and they're mixing it up a little bit. There's Sterling Marlin bumping his way around Dick Trickle.
Oh, my goodness, that was really close. That looked like Bristol up there last Saturday night when Sterling went down the corner and got it sideways.
Sterling is 11th, and Ernie is 12th. And that would put Dick Trickle then in 13th position, the number 8 car.
They're all on the lead lap. In fact, there's still, what, about 17?
There are, 17 cars on the lead lap. Still at record pace. Almost 2 miles an hour over the record average.
Sterling goes blowing by Dave Marcus at Kellogg's Cornflakes car. And closes in right on the back bumper of Alan Kowicki. That's Kowicki, the orange and white number 7. Wiki tries to get on the inside of Bobby Hill, and he does that.
We are less than 6 laps away from the halfway point.
Sterling Marlin on the inside of Bobby Hillen. We had mentioned a moment ago, there's an 800 number on the quarter panel of Hillen's car for the Hurricane Relief. That's 800-842-2200 if you want to help some of the victims of Hurricane Andrew. And Hillen, yeah, he needs some relief there for a moment.
Well, I think all of us are very hopeful that everything can get back to normal in southern Florida before too long after that devastating hurricane went through there. And I'm sure there are a lot of race fans that probably aren't able to watch and keep up with the activity because of loss of power, but we're thinking about you. And
not only loss of power, loss of television.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Gant has himself a nice lead over Dale Jarrett. Davy Allison now beginning to close in a little bit on Jarrett.
There was Jimmy Means going by.
Just ahead of Harry Gant. Means is running sponsorless, but by golly, he's out there.
Talking about a Pontiac. Got something on a quarter panel.
CAS. Yep. CAS. I don't know what that stands for, but I saw that on the entry list.
And Sterling and Irvin are still running together.
Still having a good race. Sterling Marlin was their pole sitter. John Kernan said in his stand-up, how much is the Unocal Challenge?
$53,200.
If he can win the race. Wow.
And you know, Bill Elliott, we talked about Davy Allison, how he can win $1 million bonus if he wins this race. Bill Elliott will exceed.
Oh, Sterling Marlin gets in the wall.
Hits the wall. Marlin banged against the wall and keeps it going. Caution? Not yet.
No, not yet. The officials looked down at it, but they didn't see anything. Ooh, now there might be one. Yeah. There will be.
Who did he take with him?
Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd, yep. Looks like Morgan got the worst end of the deal, too.
Yeah, I think he
Sure did.
Yeah, you can see the hood crumple up on the sit go forward.
There's the roof cam. It's still out. Here's what happened down in the 1 and 2 area as his car just took off.
Just goes straight. It's like the right front tire is low on air, or he got in the corner too hard. But you would think that the right front was low on air. Now he goes in the 3rd corner, and again, yeah, the right front tire just doesn't have any air in it.
Lake speed slowed down. Morgan gets in there behind him and clips Sterling going.
Coming up to the halfway lap, but it will not count because we have to be under green.
Elmo Langley can't get it, huh?
In fact, Elmo is leading this race right now, so the halfway challenge will be delayed for a moment. Well, a lot of pit stops are now going to be made under this 3rd caution flag of the afternoon. Here comes Gant, Jarrett, Allison, and others. Here's Jerry Punch.
And Harry Gant's crew very well aware that the halfway money of $10,000 will come into play on the 5th consecutive green flag lap after the green comes back out. 28 on the bottom of your screen. That's Davy Allison's crew working on his Ford Thunderbird. Top of your screen, you're watching the Skull crew now changing left side tires on Harry Gant's machine. Now Allison's crew on the left side of their Haviland Ford. Left side tires already on the Gant car. Here's Davy Allison's crew. Work there. He is off the jack. He pulls down pit road. Looks like it'll be Gant, Dale Jarrett, then Davy Allison, Rusty Wallace, and Ricky Rudd. They head back to turn 1.
We are waiting for Mark Martin to arrive at his pit. There he is on the backstretch, John.
I tell you what, I thought I was waiting for Christmas to come. It took so long for Mark to get around here to the backstretch. It will be a 4-tire change. Mark had just radioed in and had told the crew the car was just a little bit tight. He didn't quite like that set of tires, so he wasn't able to make a run toward the front. So they took a round to wedge out on the right rear. They will put on 4 tires, make sure that they get the grill clean. Mark is down and away and heading down pit road with Kyle Petty right behind him.
We are under caution because of an incident involving Sterling Marlin, which ultimately involved Morgan Shepherd. And Harry Gant is coming back into, he is. Yeah. Gant is back into the pits for a second stop. Jerry, what's the deal here?
Apparently they are pounding their fist here in the Gant pit, and they did not get the lug nuts tight on the left front wheel. So Gant comes back in, and there's at least 2 lug nuts. Let me look now, 3 lug nuts they have to tighten, and Gant now is away. So that 20-second pit stop looks to be the best of the caution flag, but it's a costly pit stop as Gant has to come back in and tighten the left front lugs.
How about costly, Jerry? Could have been $10,000. That's right. The track position.
Yep. And there is Morgan Shepherd as we have a live shot of him. That car back behind the wall. It has received extensive damage from that incident up in turn 3. Here it is from the roof cam. Watch and listen. Boy, things can happen so quickly.
Happens so fast.
Nothing you could do. Morgan Shepherd begins to unbuckle and climb out of the Citgo Ford after a good run that may be over. Back in a moment. Back at Darlington, Richard Petty running 24th in his final Southern 500. He is a 3-time winner here at this facility. In 33 starts, he's won the Southern 500 once. Won 3 times, but our Petty memory recalls a race that he did not win. Here's Jerry Punch.
This Richard Petty memory is brought to you by the First Brands Corporation, makers of STP oil treatment.
Those are the kind of things you don't forget. It was a classic race.
2 more turns to go. Richard Petty still side by side. Donnie Allison still hanging in 3rd. Oh! Petty has got to leave it. There comes Walter down below him as Petty stood up high. Donnie Allison trying to move past Petty into 2nd place. They're coming to the finish line. It is Darrell Waltrip winning the Rebel 500.
We passed each other 4 times, 4 or 5 times in the last lap of the race. I carried Richard down there, and when we got to the corner, Richard was going so fast, he was on the inside. He had to go up. I jammed the brakes and cut under him. I didn't know Donnie Allison was right behind me. I about took Donnie's nose off when I did that, but I cut under Richard, and we go through 3 and 4 side by side. We come off of 4, coming down to get the flag, and I guess I beat him by about maybe a car length. It was an exciting race. I'll never forget it.
We are still under caution here at Darlington because of a crash involving Sterling Marlin and Morgan Shepherd. Dale Jarrett is the leader at the 188 lap mark. We'll take another break and be back with more of our live action in just a moment. The Winston Million is on the line here this afternoon in the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington International Raceway. We are still under caution, cleaning up the accident. Perfect timing. You rejoin us on lap 192 as the green flag comes out, and we are back to racing here at Darlington. Now, here's the situation. We have gone beyond the halfway point. However, we were under caution when the halfway point occurred, and so the $10,000 will be rewarded to the driver on the 5th consecutive green flag lap. Davy Allison has not had a very good restart here. He's lost a position to Rusty Wallace.
He has lost a position. He's moved down to try to protect his position so Rudd doesn't get by. Meanwhile, here comes Rusty Wallace on the inside of Dale Jarrett.
There's one green flag lap. On the 5th, the $10,000 will be rewarded. Now, another thing you have to realize is that it is reported that rain is very close to this area, and so the drivers are going to be trying to get up front in case it rains and we don't restart. However, we'll see.
And Davy got back by Rusty, and now he closes in on the back bumper of Dale Jarrett. You're right, he just did not get a particularly good start.
And Dale didn't really get a good start. Those 3 lap cars got in front of him there. Now Davy really working on him, trying to get the 10,000 and also trying to get in front. But Dale Jarrett has never lit at the halfway point. He's not good. Ooh, he went high there. Davy tried to get under him. Couldn't quite do it. Dale's car has been, each time on restarts, has been going high in the 1st and 2nd turn. So he shoots off of that turn pretty well.
Schrader went up the banking and almost hit the wall in the 2nd corner also. I
think that these cars slowed down more than Schrader thought they were going to, and he had to go up the bank to avoid running into the back of someone.
Under green, 2 more to the Gillette halfway challenge, and $10,000 to the leader. Jarrett leading at the moment, and the driver that has been leading at the halfway point has won 7 of the first 20 NASCAR Winston Cup events.
Well, Davy closing in, coming off that turn. He has some momentum, and he has a lot of power. He just moves right on around.
Jarrett's going to try to get back on the inside, but Allison has too much steam down the straightaway. He's not able to do it. And Ricky Rudd trying to get by Rusty Wallace. So Davy Allison could be looking at $1,010,000.
Now that 10,000 is just a drop in the bucket, huh?
Well, compared to $1 million, it is.
That's what they call chump change.
This is the money lap. Whoever is leading when they come down wins $10,000. Not the million yet, but 10 grand. And there it is. Allison is the leader at the halfway point. Davy Allison wins the Gillette halfway challenge. He takes home the $10,000 award. If you have entered the contest and are called at home and can correctly identify Davy Allison as the winner, you could win the Chevrolet Lumina Z34. Leg speed car going very slowly down the front stretch as several are going very quickly through the 3rd and 4th turns.
Schroeder went by Rusty Wallace on the outside going in turn 3 to take that spot away. Here comes Kowicki up on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace. Very, very gutsy move by Schroeder to pass on the outside going in turn 3. Davy on the inside of Derek Cope.
Ricky Rudd on the move. He's up to 3rd there now behind Dale Jarrett as Davy goes around Derek Cope to put Derek a lap down. Derek's real fast on these restarts.
There's Davy, Derek Cope.
Allison wouldn't mind seeing it rain right now, would he?
No. Because if it rains, he gets $1 million if the race doesn't restart.
Right.
He would collect the $1 million.
Dale Jarrett is in pursuit, though. So is Rudd. And now Jarrett uses that low line coming off of 4.
That's that Kyle Petty line.
Yep. Speaking of Kyle, there he is running with Ernie Irvin now. Back there with Harry Gant and Brett Bodine.
Harry Gant had to make a pit stop, a second pit stop, to go in and tighten some loose lug nuts that had left loose, so he's having trouble weighing his way back to the pack.
13th and 14th. This is the roof cam on the GM Goodwrench Charlotte. Look at those dark clouds. But there have been dark clouds since the race began, and it hasn't rained yet, so we'll hope that it doesn't rain the rest of the way. There is a little bit of moisture there on the camera lens, but it could have been from a car, not moisture falling from the skies. Jarrett, Rudd, Schrader, all battling for position. Second, third, fourth.
Three Chevrolets chasing that Ford of Davy Allison.
And speaking of that, the manufacturer's points race is quite interesting as Chevy trails by 22 points from Ford. Ford has 140 points, Chevy 122, but a GM product has won the last 9 of the past 11 races and the last 6 in a row. Now the Western Auto race recap. Davy Allison has led 9 of the 200 laps. We've had 3 caution periods for 17 laps. 17 cars on the lead lap, and the average speed is now below the record at 131.87 miles an hour. Those that have picked up 5 bonus points for leading a lap include Ernie Irvin, Sterling Marlin, Davy, Harry Gant, Ted Musgrave, Ricky Rudd, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and Bill Elliott. Out of the race, McFadden, Hilton, Sauter, Michael Waltrip, Little, Potter, Shepard, and Marlin. Shepard and Marlin, the 2 most recent to drop out because of the crash. Tony Glover leads the point standings in the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year race. Donnie Richardson second, followed by Tim Brewer, Steve Meal, and Larry McReynolds.
The battle still goes on with those 3 Chevrolets. Second, third, and fourth. Jarrett, Rudd, the car number 25 with Schrader. All of those engines in those 3 cars are built by Hendrick Motorsports. Probably not much difference in the horsepower of those engines.
I guess you're probably right. You know, with Davy Allison, we talk about if it rains, we talk about rain dances and, you know, for props and whatnot. Like, $1 million pretty good prop. They should have had somebody here to do a rain dance.
That's right. They had to have somebody seeding clouds or something about this point.
There should be some airplane above us right now throwing whatever it is they throw in the clouds to make it rain.
Now Davy closes in on Hut Strickland once again, and an Autolite Field summary will show you the standings as they were the last time they crossed the line a lap ago. Here are the 17 cars on the lead lap. You can see that Hut is in 17th position, and Davy is closing in on him right now.
They're doing a good job staying out there. Jeff Bodine and Hut Strickland staying out in front of Davy. That's the trio of Fords.
Ooh. This is a huge advantage for those Chevrolets because Davy right now is not running as quick as his car is capable because he's being held up by these cars who are trying to stay in the lead lap. Here's Davy trying to go on the inside of Hut, can't make the pass. But meanwhile, while he slows down trying to get by these guys, those Chevrolets are staying, or actually probably gaining a little bit.
I think they're gaining a little bit right now, Benny. David makes a run on Hut coming off of turn 2, but does he have enough momentum to get by and going into turn 3? I don't think so.
Nope, don't believe so. Not this lap. So Davy Allison leads, trying to put a lap on Hut Strickland and Jeff Bodine as he is being pursued by Dale Jarrett and others. Back at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina, where Davy Allison leads the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at the end of 209 of the 367 laps.
And And that's the guy that could win a bonus of $1 million, and he's where he needs to be to win.
Long way to go in this one, though.
Pretty awesome, isn't it, the fact that a guy can win $1 million in a stock car race?
I'm telling you. Oh, I started to say a long time ago, and I was interrupted by that crash, that Bill Elliott is going to exceed $1 million in total winnings for the 1992 season in this event. Here's some side-by-side racing. Speaking of Bill Elliott, he and Ernie Irvan are battling for 8th position. Irvan grabs it.
He lost about 3,000 or 4,000 that little deal there, but maybe he can get it back.
Lost 4 points, and, well, I mean, you know, there's 4 points difference in those 2 positions.
Despite the fact this is Labor Day weekend, there's relatively little racing action. 2 big events are here in Darlington and the U.S. Nationals NHRA races. Next Sunday, however, a couple of good events coming up here on ESPN at 8:50 Eastern Time next Sunday morning. It's one of the greatest Grand Prix races of all, the Italian Grand Prix from Monza, Italy. That's at 8:50 in the morning, and then later in the afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll have live coverage of the Pioneer Electronics 200 IndyCar race from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Both of those events next Sunday. And Dr. Jerry Punch is standing by with a comment on Davy Allison.
Bob, as we see Davy almost effortlessly driving this car on this very tough racetrack, lest we forget, he still has 2 steel plates with about 18 screws holding his right forearm together, and he has 3 steel pins holding the bones of his right hand together. Now, he's due to have those pins removed in the next week to 10 days, but right now he's still got a lot of metal in that right hand, and he's still holding that steering wheel awfully tight. And, by the way, we just felt a drop of rain here a moment ago, and every drop we feel, the Haviland crew smiles a little more.
And they say, come on, rain. Here's Rusty, Allen, and Ernie Irvan.
Kowicki trying to move around Rusty Wallace, gets him, and Rusty backs off, and then Ernie Irvan takes a position as well. They see those raindrops on the windshield, say, hey, try to get another position here if they possibly can in case it rains hard and long.
Irvan's car running awfully fast. He was the outside pole sitter.
Ted Musgrave and Dick Trickle are in this group of cars also at the back.
6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Here's Musgrave in the lead lap.
No, he's not.
He's a lap down.
Yeah, he's 18th.
I'll tell you, there's one guy that's praying it doesn't rain, and that's Mark Martin. Remember, we've talked about him putting on the back. He's up to about 5th place right now, and I think he's as fast as the leader, but he's just got to depend on Martin raining, right, John Cannon?
Tell you what, Benny, Mark is really showing just what kind of a race car driver he is right now. About 10 laps ago, and Harry Gant's headed down pit road right now. Mark had said that the car had picked up a terrible push. It was very hard to drive, but they see these clouds moving in, and Mark is driving his heart out. And Gant is in. Jerry Punch is there.
Well, Harry had radioed a moment ago. He thought he had a bad set of tires, something wrong with the tires. The fact that the tires were mismatched, but apparently he developed a vibration, decided rather than taking a chance on possibly cutting a tire or possibly having a tire leaking down, they will come in under the green and change all 4 tires. They're cleaning rubber out of the front grill section for a costly pit stop for the Skull Bandit. 4 tires, and he is away.
He went a lap down, Jerry, and Daddy will be a little over a lap and a half behind until he gets his speed up.
I wonder if the right front was a little bit loose as well. Remember, the left front had a couple of lug nuts loose. I wonder if the right front might have been a little bit loose as well.
Davy Allison continues to hang on to the lead. Lap 217. $1 million will be his if he can win this Mountain Dew Southern 500. We'll be back to continue our live coverage of this Labor Day tradition in just a moment. Work continues on Morgan Shepherd's car as he tries to get back into the competition here at the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington International Raceway. Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. And by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Morgan Shepherd is putting the steering wheel back on, very much in hopes that he can get back into this race and pick up a few more points. There's the pin that he's putting back in the steering wheel that we talk about so often.
Make sure that holds the steering wheel on. Saved you again, didn't it, Jenkins?
I have these billboards that I have to read, and I momentarily misplaced my copy, and Benny saved me. Thank you, sir. On the racetrack, Davy Allison is in front. You remember 3 years ago, Darrell Waltrip had the opportunity to win the Winston Million. He failed to do so. Bill Elliott did do it back in 1985. And if Davy Allison can continue to lead this race as he is doing right now to the rain or to 367, he'll pick up the bonus.
We've been talking about Mark Martin. I think it's time we talked about Ernie Irvin. Because he is coming strong.
Just moved into third position around Martin. Martin had worked his way up through the field to take over third, but now Ernie Irvin has moved into third. And actually, Benny, Mark Martin, I've been talking he and Davy Allison. He's been gaining a little bit on the leader, Davy Allison, but Ernie Irvin just comes by and blows him off, so that must mean that he's really gaining.
That's right. I mean, Mark Martin is faster than the leader, Davy Allison. So what does that mean? Ernie Irvin is the fastest car on the racetrack. But there's a great deal of distance between he and Davy Allison. It's going to take a few laps to get up there.
Just a fraction over 5 seconds.
We will do an interval here and show you how much separation there is between the two.
Ernie's in third. That's the leader, of course, right there. You can see there he is. Nothing behind. There comes Dale Jarrett in the picture. He's running second.
Here comes Dale.
See.
Right. There, Ernie. There. 4.9.
Okay. He picked up a tenth of a second down there. My unofficial watch.
Jerry Punch reported earlier that Ernie Irvin has a transmission problem. He has to leave the pits in 4th gear. When he makes a pit stop, he's unable to put him first. So if this thing goes green, or if we should race on into the end of the race, the end of the 500-mile race, he will be at a decided disadvantage because he having to take off in 4th gear. He's going to lose a lot of time coming out of the pits.
See if the interval is shortened. Oh, crash. Jeff Bodine is in the fence in turn 4 and takes several. Looks like Dick Trickle and Ted Musgrave also become involved.
Now watch Darrell Waltrip weed his way through there. Kyle Petty gets through as well. Brett Bodine, Harry Gant.
Bill Elliott, their point leader.
He gets through, okay. 3 cars crash in turn number 4. Ted Musgrave.
4 cars.
4 cars. Ted Musgrave, Jeff Bodine,
Dick
Trickle, and
Jimmy Means.
Is that Jimmy Means?
Yeah, down on the inside, car number 52. The
okay, yep.
Jeff Bodine, who crashed initially, has already left.
So there you can see Jeff was the first. Oh, hard
Trickle
contact.
and Musgrave, hard contact. And there's Means spinning down to the inside. I don't think he hit anything.
No, I don't think he did. I think he missed that wall. And
boy, Ted Musgrave did. He went head first into the wall. And from our speed shot underneath the starter stand, watch at the top of your screen, you can see Jeff just lost it on his own, it looks like. And then there was a whole bunch of cars following him, and several got in trouble. There's Musgrave going up into the wall, and Trickle, and then Means spinning to the inside.
And you wonder if they make pit stops with the clouds out. Yep, they're making pit stops.
Okay. John Kernan is in Dale Jarrett's pit.
As the clouds move in, it looks rather ominous. This could be the race in the pits to see who wins the event. Dale Jarrett's had several good pit stops all day long. They're working on the right side. They will also take out a round of wedge out of the right rear. The right and left side's going on. Let's go down to Jerry Punch and Davy Allison's pit.
And the race continues here for the Davy Allison crew. They have already changed right side tires, left side tires going on. Dale Jarrett already off the jacks. He's headed down pit road here at Davy Allison. Let's see who's going to make it out. Allison pulls back out. Here is Jarrett by. It will be Allison Jarrett as they head back to turn 1. 138 laps to go here at Darlington. What a scramble.
Davy was pitted much further down pit road. The Interstate Batteries crew did a great job again of getting Dale in and out of the pits, and there is Mark Martin, who is pitted on the backstretch. And as everybody's had their work completed here on the front stretch, he is still in the pits on the backstretch. There's the battered car of Ted Musgrave as we're under caution here at Darlington. Live coverage here on ESPN of the Winston Million, the Mountain Dew Southern 500 from Darlington, South Carolina. And we're showing you what appears to be a very dark and very low-hanging cloud over this racetrack. And as we continue to pan over the front stretch here, that area right there is located behind us, and that, guys, is scary. As a matter of fact, I think I'll leave if you'll just do the rest of the race. Let's hope that thing goes somewhere else. Ted Musgrave's car is being gotten off the racetrack after a 4-car incident off of turn number 4. We talked about airflow maybe from that cloud. Here's a track back on airflow from Rusty Wallace's car.
Trackbacks are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Over the years, the Winston Cup teams have tried to utilize all the air passing over the exterior of the car. One use for it was by applying these NASA or NACA windows here in the side of the car to have air captured here and run through a series of hoses through the oil coolers and around inside the car and out the bottom. However, in wind tunnel testing, they learned that that was really hurting the car. How did it hurt it? Well, 2 ways. First of all, you were taking air in the side window that was meant to go to the spoiler and help keep the rear end of the car on the racetrack. Secondly, that air was being shoved out underneath the car, which didn't allow the car to have the downforce you needed to have to handle. So why not correct it by turning that window around? It would seem simple, and it works. Suddenly, the upper window here has the large part up front, the small part in the back. As wind forces across the opening, it creates a vacuum here, thereby drawing air through those inside hoses from beneath the car, through the cooling mechanisms, and out here. No longer have a lot of air being shoved beneath the car, so the car is nice and stable. You're actually pulling air outside this window, shoving it toward the rear spoiler to give the car more stability in the turn. You solve the problem by simply turning the window around.
Aerodynamics on a NASCAR Winston Cup car, and here are some, again, black clouds that are overhead at Darlington. I'm glad we can't see that. That's behind us, or I'd be scared to death. And the wind has definitely kicked up. There's the yellow flag that is being displayed, and Jerry Punch goes from a garage to the pit area with Bill Elliott.
Problems continue for our current Winston Cup point leader. You hear him speeding away in the background. He was not a happy camper. He'd just been on pit road a moment ago. Apparently, they have brake problems in the Budweiser Ford. We thought they had lost all the brakes. The crew were out to try to stop the car when he came down pit road. They have lost the right front brakes. They added fluid to those brakes and they tried pumping them. He just came back down pit road. And of course, he had a problem here. They had to change tires and find the left front lug nuts. So problems again for Bill Elliott. We'll be back with more racing from Darlington after this. Stay with us.
Benny recognizes your invitation and will try to make it if he possibly can.
Where is that? New Jersey? That guy got to move his head. What is that, New Jersey? I think it was New Jersey. Yeah.
Look at the clouds overhead. Man, oh man. It hasn't rained yet, though, and hopefully it won't, but look how dark and low those clouds are. Anyway, we are going to go back to green next time around. There's Doyle Ford indicating one more lap before green. Now let's show you what's coming up here on ESPN the rest of the day. That Arlington Million horse race coming up live at 5 o'clock tonight with the premiere of our Jockey Cam. Baseball tonight's at 6 o'clock, NFL primetime at 7, and then Major League Baseball tonight on ESPN features the Red Sox against the A's at 8 o'clock. Sports Center will wrap up all the day's activity for you at 11 o'clock tonight Eastern time. Elmo Langley is the driver of the pace car. He looks pretty calm.
Set on the pole down here.
Yeah, and
way back on.
While we're talking about former winners of this race, 1965, was it, Ned?
Long time ago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Elliott has been in and out of the pits numerous times during this caution. I believe he has remained on the lead lap, but he's come close a couple of times.
Yeah, and he's going to be over a half a lap behind Bob as they get the green flag, and he's just going out of the pits on the backstretch, going up the backstretch, I should say. Harry Gant down there trying to get his lap back. I'll bet he'll do it as fast as that car's going to go.
Despite the ominous weather, the fans are staying in their seats to watch the end of this one. Davy Allison is the leader as we restart this race on lap 236. For those of you...
And Davy Allison's car is a little bit off the pace coming off that turn. Look how quickly Dale Jarrett and Harry Gant ran back up there. The last restart, you know, he went down into turn 1. The car just wouldn't go for him. Maybe he's got it going now. There's Gant trying to move on the inside of Dale Jarrett. Davy got a good jump on that restart, moved out in front of Harry Gant.
And then it seemed to lose it as he went down the corner. I wouldn't think he'd be shifting as you did. He should be in high gear when he gets down in that corner.
Yeah, he should be. I wouldn't think they'd have anything to do with that. It's just, I don't know, maybe the car just with brand new tires, it just don't stick in that first corner.
Anyway, for those of you just joining us, if that number 28 Haviland Ford can lead lap 367, or if we should have rain before then, if he can win this race, Davy Allison will collect a bonus of $1 million.
Harry Gant trying desperately to get his lap back. He has been one of the fastest cars on the track, but he made an unscheduled pit stop for a change of tires, went a lap down, trying to get back in the lead lap, and then hope for a caution.
Jerry confirms what you guys just said, that the new tires just don't stick very good when you step on the gas, but once they get heated up, they're okay.
Sterling Marlin coming back out after spending a lot of time in the garage area in the Maxwell House Ford.
The reason Davy is eligible for the Winston Million, if you can win 3 of what they call the Big 4 races in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, you win $1 million. If you win 2, $100,000. Davy won Daytona and 1 Talladega, and so if he can win today, he'll win the million. There is Sterling Marlin's Maxwell House Ford that doesn't look very good, but he's back out there.
Things continue on as they have been throughout the day. Harry Gant's car will get a little bit stronger as we run a few laps. Davy Allison's car will fade a little bit, and Harry's car will get stronger.
Unless Davy Allison has just been saving a little bit a while and decided to unleash here, because he has been off the pass since the halfway point.
Gant is 14th. He's a lap down, trying to get his lap back.
Oh, Mark Martins. Oh, excuse me. I thought he spun going on second corner. Sorry. He was just 45 degrees.
He is slowing. Moving inside of Darrell Waltrip, and Harry Gant has gotten his lap back. Gant has passed Davy Allison to get his lap back.
There's Jimmy Means.
And Elliott. We found Mark Martin. There he is.
He came off the second corner just a little bit ago underneath the 10 car of Derek Cope, and just got totally out of control and lost 4 or 5 spots while his heart, he tried to get his heart back beating again.
Or at least yours.
Yeah, mine at least, that's right.
Dave Marcus hadn't had a bad race. He's 18th, a lap down.
They got a lap down early in the race on a long green flag run during pit stop exchanges.
Ever see Harry Gant? He is in front of Davy Allison now. Then he wants a caution flag, but not for rain. He just wants a, you know, a hamburger wrapper on the racetrack or something like that. Not for rain.
Not for a wreck.
I'm sure Dick Beatty and all the officials are checking the sky, making sure, talking to their spotters in the corners, making sure that
if the race were to end right now, there would be a 58-point separation between Davy and Bill. And so he would almost, well, it was 109 going into this race.
So he could have about 50, 51 off of him.
Well, here is what happened to Mark Martin, and this is why Benny almost had a heart attack.
I just had me watching this as he come off the corner, and watch that. Ooh. Irvin pulled up behind him. Might have taken a little bit of air off the spoiler. I don't know.
Or might have even made a little bit of contact.
You know, I just mentioned Dick Beatty and happened to think about it. He told me the other day he's going to retire at the end of this 1992 season.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation on that he might do that. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm happy for him. I mean, he's given a lot to the sport and deserves to sit back and take it easy a little bit in his mountain home up in Ashe County, I believe, near West Jefferson, somewhere in North Carolina.
And one of our regular NASCAR officials, Morris Metcalf, underwent coronary surgery, bypass surgery. Or I guess is going to.
Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday, yeah. He's got 75% blockage of the left coronary artery. Now, Jerry, I don't understand all this. Tell me about it.
Well, you know how you have a valve job in a car? Well, that's sort of what's going to happen to Morris Metcalf. He's going to have surgery in Forsyth County Hospital in Winston-Salem next week. He's going to have a mitral valve replaced, one of the valves that separates the two chambers on the left side of the heart. He's going to have 4 bypass grafts put in. And Morris is hoping to be back in time, maybe for Atlanta. So he's already planning to be back in Atlanta, and we all wish him well.
We certainly do. He's a fixture of the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit, and we wish Morris the best in his operation this coming Tuesday. Ernie Irvan moving inside of Schrader.
Move, isn't he?
Yep.
Boy, his car is so fast. And did I hear that John Turner's mom had some surgery this past week or something? Seemed like all the entire crew medical problems.
There you can see Irvan and Schrader battling out of the racetrack just behind Ricky Rudd.
The 6th and 7th position they're in there. Rudd is running 5th.
Happy birthday today to Andy and Gene Jeffers. A lot of birthdays here in the first week of September.
We're not wishing you happy birthday, America.
No, I don't want you to. It reminds me how old I am.
Here goes Ernie.
There's some smoke coming out of the back end of that car, guys.
Ooh, a little tire smoke right there. I think it's got a little loose, but yeah, didn't they say a little bit earlier that there was a transmission that was leaking a little bit? Dick Crickle's car down the inside. He's slow now. He's all that damage on his Snickers Ford.
Well, all this action is behind the leader of the race, who continues to be Davy Allison, on his way to collecting the Winston Million in the Mountain Dew 500. There are several drivers, as we indicated earlier, that are still looking for a win in 1992 after they visited Victory Lane in 1991, including Rusty Wallace, Schrader, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Bodine, and Dale Jarrett. Those 5 drivers won last year but haven't yet in 92.
Rusty Wallace is catching Davy Allison at the rate of about 0.2 of a second a lap.
We understand that NASCAR is contemplating a black flag for Ernie Irvan because of the smoke and the possible grease or oil that he's putting down on the racetrack.
It'll be a tough break for him, but
I see Mike Chapin there, the assistant flagman. He has the black flag in his hand.
And they're looking for him coming out of turn 4.
Is he going to? Yes, he is.
Black flag is being waved for Ernie Irvan, who had moved up to 3rd position. Jerry?
I checked in the Ernie Irvan pits a minute ago, and it apparently is the same problem we had before. It's a transmission problem. I asked Larry McClure, I said, is it the transmission? He said, yeah, but just a small leak. I said, Larry, that's sort of like me telling someone it's a very, very small bullet hole. But of course, a leak is a leak, and it's got to be fixed. So they're going to bring the car in. And while we've got it here and the car comes down pit road, I want to show you our cameraman is with us all year long, Corky Corcoran. John Corcoran, he and his wife Paige had a little boy about a week and a half ago, and Corky did not miss a single beat at Bristol, Tennessee. James Austin Corcoran, born 8.5 pounds on August 18th, and John Corcoran, as you're looking right now, did not miss a single day of work in Bristol, Tennessee. And now we'll watch his camera show us Ernie Irvan's crew go to work on the Kodak Chevrolet. You see the smoke now boiling from underneath the front of the car. Irvan's crew will try to correct the transmission leak as they change right side tires. And look at the car. Ernie Irvan losing a lot of very valuable time here in the pits under the green flag.
he has already gone 1 lap down, Jerry, as they let the car down. Well, let's see. They're still holding it now. Going to check the other side up.
Seconds tick away up to 30 now.
what happened, they'd already taken the lug nuts off the left side, and the crew didn't realize that. They said, well, we're not going to change left sides, but the lug nuts were already off. Larry McClure was conscious enough to go over the wall and say, hey, guys, got to change the tires.
While we're watching that in the pits, Rusty Wallace has cut Davy Allison's lead down to less than a second. There is Davy Allison going into turn 1. And you can see there is Rusty, one car between them. But he is definitely gaining on Davy Allison. There's Lake Speed in the Purex Ford.
He's running 28.
Now there's nothing but daylight between Wallace and Davy Allison.
And you say, well, couldn't Rusty Wallace and Davy Allison make a deal? You know, I mean, there's $1 million here, guys.
A little percentage at least, huh?
But I'm telling you what, Davy Allison wouldn't take this big. I mean, he wouldn't trade $1 million for winning the Southern 500 right now.
That's for sure. Here's Jerry.
Guys, if you're noticing some smiles behind me, it may be because we're beginning to see more raindrops than we've seen all afternoon. We've even had reports that it's raining about a half a mile away. Now, it's rained a little bit in the afternoon, not enough to make the track wet, but we're going to watch it very closely. The clouds, very ominous here, right behind the tower where you guys are.
But I think there's a real question as to whether Rusty can hold, Davy can hold off Rusty, because he's within car lengths now, John.
Remember earlier I told you about how Buddy Parrott had told me this morning that as the race wore on, that Rusty would run great and would make a move toward the front. He must have been one heck of a weatherman to know that this big cloud was going to come over and cool this race down, change it the way it has. And you know, one other interesting note, Buddy won a race here with Darrell Waltrip back in the late 70s. They used 9 sets of tires. Those 9 sets of tires didn't cost as much as 2 sets today, and they've got 15 here today.
The cost of racing goes up, doesn't it? Ernie Irvan is still being black flagged. He's run 4 laps now without coming in, so he will have to come in again. We're talking about Ernie Irvan. Meanwhile, look at this. Rusty.
He's there.
Right there.
Mark Martin has moved into 3rd and is gaining on all of them.
Here comes Rusty on the inside. Takes the lead.
Rusty Wallace goes into the lead on lap 265. We are 102 laps away from the finish of this event, and Rusty Wallace has taken the lead from Davy Allison, trying to deny Davy the $1 million bonus. But we've got a long way to go in this one, so stay with us. It isn't over yet at Darlington International Raceway in South Carolina. The Gillette Halfway Challenge. If you want to enter the contest for next week's Miller Genuine Draft 400, write to Gillette Halfway Challenge, Post Office Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida 33731 2246. You have to be 18 or over, and we must receive your entry by Friday, September 11th, for that Saturday night race at Richmond next weekend. Reba Savoy, age 66, of Roswell, New Mexico, is going to be tooling down the streets next week, enjoying her new Lumen.
Now, don't you know she's going to look good right in that
She
car?
sure is.
Real happy for her. Congratulations.
Mark's looking pretty sweet right now because he's got the front 2 cars.
It's
there we are.
3-car battle for the lead. Rusty, Davy, and Mark.
And here goes Mark on the inside. Takes 2nd away.
Rather easily.
Here comes right up on the back bumper of Rusty.
Now can he take the lead? Mark Martin looks to the inside. He will not make a move down the back stretch into 3.
If Rusty goes up the hill, they're trying to drive under him.
Here's another battle for position. This is for 8. Schrader and Petty. Kyle has it.
They've battled a lot today, those 2 cars, haven't they?
Yeah, they seem like they've been together just about all race long.
Yeah, Kyle's pitting on the back stretch, Schrader on the front stretch. Okay, Mark Martin looking for a place to go. He's up right on the back bumper. Ooh, he might have had to back off a little bit there.
He did have to. Remember last week at Bristol when he ran up on the back bumper of Dick Trickle and hit the back of the Snickers Ford?
Mark has been
on the outside. Look at this.
How
Wow.
about that?
Wow.
At Darlington?
Whoa.
Now, come on. You guys have told me since we've been coming here that you can't do that.
And look, Davy Allison goes by Rusty Wallace.
Rusty might have used his tires up getting up there to the front. He really rammed that car hard and abused it a little bit, and the tires might have gone away a little bit on him.
You know what's sad is Mark Martin has been working since last pit stops to get up to this point, and in a few laps he's going to have to go back into the pits and do it all over again.
If there's another caution flag.
Yeah, but if it stops under green, won't bother him.
Right. Man. So Mark Martin now leads Davy Allison and Rusty Wallace, and we should see pit stops in less than 10 laps. And so, as we set up to cover these pit stops, we will take another break. Mark Martin has gone to the front, Davy Allison is now second, and Rusty Wallace is third. Mark Martin, the driver eligible for that Winston Million. Davy Allison is running in second position.
Martin goes by Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Bodine. A couple of cars that crashed earlier in the day.
And Rusty Wallace has really dropped back. He has dropped back to fourth position after making a brilliant charge to the front.
There's Davy alongside Richard Petty, who is 20th. 3 laps down. We continue to hear reports that rain is coming, but we have had none so far to speak of. Just a few drops, nothing serious enough to throw a caution. But our cameramen and spotters say they're beginning to feel it and see it coming from over our heads as we are here on the front straightaway.
Mark Martin leading the Southern 500. You know, I'm sure he had a big thrill today meeting the governor of Arkansas, the Democratic candidate, Bill Clinton, showing him his race car, introducing him to all the team. Clinton went straight to Mark Martin when he got here. The fact that both of them are from the state of Arkansas.
Mark, of course, from Batesville. Ooh, he came up on Wally Dallenbach real fast and almost.
That'd be something. Look, if he ran into his teammates.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he's caught
Gant
coming into the pits.
Gant slowing and coming in. Terry was in 13th position. Went a lap down, so came in.
I think this will be scheduled pit stops. Rick Mast going out in the Skoal Classic Oldsmobile. Well, evidently his crew didn't think it was going to rain in the next couple of laps. I think he would have had enough fuel to go with a few more laps.
They're just trying to get out, and we see Dick Trickle back there with some other car working on that Snickers board.
Yeah, it's been in for many, many laps. Gant working on the left side to get that debris out from the front of the car, and Harry's on his way again.
Now 2 laps down.
There is Mark.
Down the back straightaway.
Ran third here in the Trans-South 500 at Darlington in the spring. Won Martinsville not too long after that. And is leading here this afternoon.
How's this for a scenario? All the cars pit, and then starts raining. Bill Elliott, who's running 12th, wins the race because he stays out on fuel mileage.
Atlanta or whatever.
Wouldn't be the first time it happened this year.
That's right.
Because at Atlanta, it wasn't because of rain, but a caution did come out at the right time.
There are a lot of crew chiefs planning strategy here. Here's the Mark Martin team. And again, he's on the back stretch. On the other side of the racetrack here on the front stretch, the Haviland team.
Dale Jarrett just went around Davy Allison to take over second. So they're expecting him to come in pretty quick here, I would think.
And here's Jerry.
Well, you guys are exactly right. They said they're expecting Davy Allison to come in. They've just called Davy in. They were trying to hold him out as long as possible. By their calculations here, they felt that possibly Mark Martin would have to pit around lap 290, which is about 6 or 7 laps away. But they are expecting now to bring Davy Allison in, rain or no rain. They can't afford to run him out of fuel here at Darlington and possibly lose a lap and lose a chance at the Winston Million. So they're going to roll the dice. We're watching for Davy to come out of turn 3 and 4 and possibly make an entry on the pit road.
Not this time, Jerry. He stays out this time around.
crew is ready, but Davy isn't at the moment. Dale Earnhardt does come down pit road, as you saw there in the background. The signboard is in the hands of Larry McReynolds, so Davy is probably going to come in this next time around. Alan Kulwicki has come in, and so has Dale Earnhardt. The Childress crew working on that car. He spent many laps, by the way, behind the wall with a clutch problem. Here comes Davy Allison.
Rusty Wallace will follow him down pit road as well.
They're going to have to stop again, guys. I don't think they can make it the rest of the way. They're going to have to stop again.
Davy working his way down the pit road.
Rusty comes to a stop.
Here's Jerry.
We are 81 laps away from the conclusion here, and Davy Allison's shot at the Winston Million. The crew now having to be very deliberate. They have changed right side tires, taken the left side lug nuts off. They will come around and make sure they do not have any miscues. No left lug nuts gone. Left front tire goes on, left rear. They got the car completely full of fuel. Davy sitting very patiently watching the clouds. 20.9 seconds as he is down and headed back to turn one.
Pretty good pit stop. Rusty Wallace is just now pulling away from his stall.
It was a good pit stop, but they are a lap down to Mark Martin. Mark yet to make a pit stop. How long can he go? Let's see.
There is Mark Martin.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't dive in the pits, right? Yeah. Okay, Mark, go ahead. Run that way.
Make a liar out of it.
And there's Rusty Wallace.
Yep.
That would be two down right now.
It would be two if Mark catches him, but Rusty with those new tires on, he'll drive away from Mark.
And Mark keeps waiting for it to rain because I mean, right in turn one, you can see the rain is right there in turn one. It just won't rain.
Won't come to the racetrack.
What you call scattered showers, and fortunately they have scattered away from us. Now he's coming off the accelerator and down to the pit area. John Kernan, he is headed your way.
Mark had previously planned to pit 2 laps from now, that they decided to bring him in a couple of laps early because it's Davy Allison's actions coming in on pit road. A while ago we told you it had a push in the car. Well, once the track cooled down quite a bit, that went away and the car started running really, really fast. In fact, Mark's been one of the best. His car has been one of the best cars we've seen on tire wear all day long. It will be a 4-tire change. These guys, under caution, had a 19.2-second pit stop. We'll have to see if they can equal that. Right sides are already on. Second can of gasoline on it. In. Left side's going on. They will need one more pit stop, though, to finish the race. The front of the grill is clean, and Mark Martin is down and away. 19.7 seconds.
Dale Jarrett's the leader of the race now, isn't he, Ned?
Yes, he's the leader. He, of course, will have a pit stop coming up sometime in the near future. He's losing time on the racetrack of those who have made pit stops with those fresh tires on. But now he's coming into the pits right now. And Jerry Punch is going to be there, ready for Jarrett to come in. Terry Labonte comes in the pits in the Sunoco entry. Jarrett coming towards you.
Thank you very much, Ned. Yes, indeed, he was losing some valuable time, so Dale Jarrett brings the Interstate Battery Chevrolet to a halt. Remember, Dale, a 2-time winner here at Darlington. Both those wins coming from the Busch Grand National Series. Yet to go to victory lane in a Winston Cup car, having a great run today as they clean a lot of thick rubber from the grill in the front of the car. Having changed right sides, now left side tires, really working hard to clean the windshield. The windshield literally covered in oil or something, possibly out from beneath the Earnhardt car. 20.5 seconds, and he can make car in the crew. Let Dale Jarrett go away.
Those guys have been exceptional on pit road today. His crew has got him in and out very, very quickly. So now, with most of those who are running up front having made pit stops, Ricky Rudd has not, and he has the lead. Able to restart this race, Waltrip would win again.
Well, how much gas does he have?
Yeah, he's going to have to stay out there. Of course, he can't come in and give up that lead, or
if he comes in the pits, he loses his lead. That's right. Ricky Rudd tried to race Darrell back to the line and get a lap back, but he's now a lap down to Darrell.
Darrell Waltrip has won here at Darlington 4 times, but he has never won the Southern 500. And there you can see on the front windshield of Morgan Shepherd's car that the rain is beginning to come down a little bit harder.
It's raining pretty good over in turn 1.
Brent Bodine and Bill Elliott had not stopped either, so they're up there in good shape. In fact, they're being shown in 3rd and 4th position. Mark Martin back to 2nd.
And of course, Davy Allison's chances are hurt dramatically by this because he is back in 5th.
But it's a long time till dark, fellas. And,
oh, yeah.
And NASCAR will wait a good while before they won't call it just because it might rain right now.
And we're 71 laps away from the official finish of this race, so they will try to get it in, all of it in, if at all possible. But right now, rain is falling on the racetrack, and the caution is out. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Well, Doug Reichert is standing here beside me. Doug, how far can you go on fuel?
Well, under green, we were able to go probably 3, maybe 4 laps if we had to. When the rain started coming, we were going to stretch it just as far as we could and hope for this caution that we got. If it goes much longer, we're going to have to come in.
So you wanted to see the caution, but you'd like to be able to have it rain heavy in a hurry.
It needs to rain real heavy right now, and that's what we're hoping for. But, we can deal with it if it don't. The Western Auto Chevrolet's been running good. The crew's been doing well, so we're going to pray for the best right now.
They're smiling here in DW's pits as they are possibly getting set for a pit stop. Let's check in over in the Mark Martin pit.
I tell you, Steve, you guys just made that pit stop about 8-9 laps ago. The rain comes down. You're posted 2nd. I guess the only thing you can do now, hope that we don't get under a red flag situation or that Darrell runs out of gas, huh?
Yeah, well, we're pretty hard-headed. We don't race the weather. We race the racetrack and the people on it. The thing to do was to come get tires and try to beat people that already got them, and we're in real good shape. If we don't win, we just didn't win. You can't control that. But we come a long ways all day, run a half lap further than everybody based on how we had to pit back here. And we're disappointed, but we're happy with our performance, and it ain't over yet.
How hard was it to keep Mark calm? Because you'd be running out front, come in here and pit, go back out 10th with a 19.5-second pit stop.
He never said a word. You know, the guys had great stops. They were real smart about it. They did the right thing. Mark worked his way up through traffic. We had a good car, so we could get through traffic all right. It's just a matter of communication, but Mark was never upset about it.
Well, Steve, NASCAR official wants to talk to you right now. So, guys, we'll throw it back up to you.
Well, Steve Meal is absolutely right. Mark Martin has come back from being a long way back in terms of position on the racetrack to take the lead. And now with the rain coming down at Darlington, the question is, will we be able to get started? And will Davy Allison still win that $1 million? Tells it all. The race has been stopped. The Southern 500 is under red because of rain on lap 298. The field is lining up on pit road behind the pace car with Darrell Waltrip's Western Auto Chevrolet, the first car behind the pace car. Now, it's not raining real hard here on the main straightaway, but it definitely is raining hard enough to stop this race. It isn't a downpour as yet. But with this situation arising, you got to consider that it's going to take a while for the track to dry. And so we're looking at probably a little bit before this thing can get back underway. And it is raining hard, I guess, in parts of the racetrack.
It's going to be a downpour in just a moment.
Yeah.
So I know Darrell Waltrip wanted to see a downpour, and he's getting one. It's going to be one here in just a second.
Yep.
That was turn 1 that we were looking at.
Let's go down to Jerry Punch, who is with Davy Allison.
Well, I stuck my head in the window a moment ago, and he was able to smile a little bit here as Davy still sits in the car. Davy, you ran up front all day and waited for rain, and now you pit, and the rain's come.
Yeah, Jerry, I had a feeling that was going to happen, but, you know, you got to take some chances in this business, and old Texaco Haviland Thunderbird's really been working good all day. Mark Martin's awful tough. You know, I don't know if we got anything for him or not, and Harry Gant had a tough break. I hated to see that for him. But we're having a good time, you know. I feel good right now.
You got to feel like that if we could get it restarted, you got enough in the car to be able to have a good shot at the $1 million.
Well, we just made an adjustment on the car, and it really seemed like it helped it. And, you know, we were just going to try to take it easy. Mark had a big lead on us. By the time everybody else pitted, we were going to be back to second place with a pretty big lead over third. But it just didn't work out. You know, lucky break for that Budweiser crew, though.
Well, lucky break for them. Now, how's the hand? Physically, you're sitting here, you're sort of squeezing a little bit. You okay?
Well, it's pretty good, you know. It's a little stiff, but it ain't enough to keep us from going the rest of the way.
A big smile from Davy Allison. He knows they still have a good shot at picking up $1 million as he will try very gingerly to climb out of the car as the rains really start to come down here. And he banged that arm trying to get out, and now he will climb out as the fans now wave at a young man who has shown a tremendous amount of courage here these past 4 weeks.
What a break the Budweiser crew got.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If the race were to end right now, Elliott would pick up 3rd place points and Davy would pick up 5th place points. Both of them have led a lap. And so all that Davy has been through and the great race that he has had is going to end up in a deficit because of this rain. But it is not over yet, friends, although, as you can see, the rain is falling quite hard now and the track is getting very, very wet, interrupting the Mountain Dew Southern 500. Southern 500 at Darlington. Leading the race at the moment is Darrell Waltrip. 2nd place is Mark Martin. Here's Jerry.
I tell you, when Mark Martin climbed out of the car a moment ago, these fans really gave him quite a bit of applause. Mark, not only for the effort you put in today, but a tremendous show yesterday. And it's raining, but you've had one whale of an effort today.
Well, we were, against such tremendous odds. I never expected to win the race when we started, unless we got awful lucky anyway. We had such a fast race car, and I want to thank Jack Roush and Steve Neal, Valvoline Folgers, and Ford. And I'm going to tell you what, we were on the best Goodyear radial I've ever been on. My car would just keep on. The longer we would run, the better we would do. And I got to believing that we were going to win the race after we took the lead there, and they were calling the splits, and I'd got like a 7-second lead, and we were coming in to make our pit stop, and I knew we had a big enough lead that when we came back out, we were still going to be leading because pitting on the backstretch didn't really matter under the green. And I thought, it's over for these guys if it goes green the rest of the way. And that rain started, and I just said, no, tell them it's not raining. Let's run. We got to run.
Disappointment yesterday, but the rains could move out. We still may have a shot. Does anyone run with you? Davey seems pretty tight, but you seem like to be the class.
We just got the fastest race car on the racetrack as of right now. Other people have had real fast cars. Davey's been fast at times, the 4 car, which is out of it now. The 33 car, I don't know where he stands right now, but I feel like that under the right circumstances, we can outrun anything here, but we can't overcome caution late in a race because we'll be 10th. We're 10th every time. If the cautions will kill us. If we can run all the way, I think we're in good shape. But if we have many yellows, it's just impossible to overcome that half a track, deficit.
So Mark Martin says, let the rains quit, let the caution stay away, and I'll win it here at Darlington today. Back upstairs. Hey, let's check in with John Kernan, who's with the weather radar. John, what's it look like around here?
Jerry, it's these types of days I wish I would have paid a lot of attention to meteorology classes in college. But here's the radar. This dot right here is the Darlington International Raceway, and you can see the green around that area around the racetrack is a little bit darker than the rest of the green. That means that it's raining pretty hard right here, which you know from standing outside. And this system is moving through at east-northeast, and we have not been able to determine about how fast it is moving, but it looks like we're on the edge right here, and there's a few holes in here, so we may be okay. It looks like about 10-15 miles from the racetrack is where this band of showers is, and it's, as I said, moving east-northeast, so we may be okay. We haven't been able to determine that just yet, but we'll keep you updated.
You touched on the Benny Parsons method of weather forecasting there.
What was
look
that?
outside or go outside and look up in the sky.
That's it.
Well, you can see some breaks there in the clouds, but it's hard. It's raining real hard right now. Very hard, and everybody is extremely wet. If the race were to be called right now and not restarted, let's take a look at how the field would be with another Napa Field summary. They're the top 5 with the $1 million bonus not being won by Davy Allison. He would be in 5th. 9 cars on the lead lap. Ricky Rudd a lap down.
So that means if Mark Martin did make a pit stop, he said he'd come out 10th. Well, really 9th is the worst that he could come out right now with 9 cars on the lead lap.
Richard Petty 19th. Wally Dallenbach 24th, and Ernie Irvin, who's had an up and down day, would finish 25th. Ted Musgrave was involved in a rather bad looking accident up in turn number 4, would finish in 30th. Dale Earnhardt 29th.
Look at DW sitting there. He said, I'm the smartest guy around here.
He's the leader right now under red.
Is he sitting in the rain? Surely. Looks like it.
Surely he's got sense enough to come in out of the rain.
He's just sitting here relaxing. And DW, would you like some sunscreen?
You know, I'd like to see what's going to happen here. I got a pretty tough skin. I may not need no sunscreen today.
It is drizzling just a little bit.
Well, you know, I don't know what to expect here, you know. I mean, we're leading the race and it's raining. That's good. How long it's going to rain, we don't know. And so you got to sit here with a little bit of a knot in your stomach and wonder. But while I'm sitting here, I am going to enjoy myself.
Jerry, get rid of that umbrella. Let it get wet.
Love you.
All right, so you wanted to sit here, so we're going to walk away with the umbrella. And
it don't matter if I get a cold or not. Don't worry about it. I'll be okay.
Hey, you talk about a happy race driver. Let him lead, and he'll sit out here and let it just pour down rain. DW winning last week. Hey, the proud papa for the second time. And his wife and two little girls sitting at home watching him, probably wondering why Daddy's a little bit different. And
that's a good word.
What?
I got a classic for you.
What's that?
I don't mean to be a smart aleck, and it might quit raining, and I hope it does, so Davy might have a shot at the million. But somebody down there asked me how much gas I had left in my tank. I said about $1 million worth. I don't mean to be a smart aleck, but that's about how much is left.
Oh, I'm sure Davy does not want to hear that. As DW sits here and enjoys the showers in Darlington, guys.
It would be a Waltrip weekend. Michael won the Busch Grand National race here yesterday. Darrell is the leader under red of the Southern 500. Raining, and raining very hard at 298 out of 367 laps. Here's John Kernan with Bill Elliott.
Well, Bill, you're sitting in there third position. For a while there, you had to drop back. You had a little bit of a problem there in the midpoint of the race. Can you tell me about that?
Well, we broke a brake line or something, and I ran out of brakes. I didn't have any brakes. I just kind of rode around there, and lucky enough, a caution came out, and it was a long enough one that we closed off the brake caliper on the right front, and all I got's left front and rears, and it drives terrible with all, you know, I have to pump them up going in the corner, and then with this left front, it turns the car real hard getting in the corner and makes it real loose. And I really have to be careful around traffic. I can't jam the brakes on or anything.
Now you're sitting in third spot, looking pretty good. Are you having your guys do a rain dance too?
Well, I think everybody is, but, you know, it's a situation of whether it stops or it don't. You know, we've had a good day, and regardless of what happens, there isn't a lot of race left, and, you know, we'll just see what the good Lord gives us.
You know, you're the points leader, but you don't seem to act like it. I mean, there's no pressure now. You're just this old pro. You know how to handle all this stuff, don't you?
Well, it's pretty much, regardless of what happens, it looked pretty dim there when I first ran out of brakes, and I was just riding around there because we'd had a real bad day. But, you know, a caution came out. We were fortunate enough to pick up some spots there, and the car's running decent enough that, you know, I can kind of hang on there, and at least we're still in the lead lap, and I think I can stay on to it, you know, with the more than, you know, 70 or so laps to go in the race.
Well, if the race were in right now, you'd be 119 points ahead of Davy. Is that a pretty good cushion to have this late in the season?
Well, it keeps winding down, but we'll just wait and see. If it starts back, you know, Davy can beat me, and regardless of whoever's in the middle of us and where we end up or how things go, we'll just have to wait and see. But, you know, it could go either way, and there's a lot of races left, and right now we'll just have to take it a race at a time. We had our problems today. We're fortunate enough to be where we're at right now, but, you know, you never know what the weather's going to do.
You know, Bill's a pilot. He has to deal with weather all the time and filing flight plans, and it described to him what the radar looked like, and then he looked up and he said, well, it doesn't look like this is moving very, very quickly. So Bill's probably more of a meteorologist than I am.
And he said that everybody's hoping for the rain to continue. I know one person that is, and that's Davy Allison. He's fifth and, of course, would not win the Winston Million if we were not to go back to racing. Well, speaking of million, there's $1 million guaranteed in the Budweiser Racing to the Breeders' Cup coming up next from Arlington Heights, Illinois, and the debut of the Jockey Cam, which I know you're going to be interested in seeing. That's coming up right after our event here, the Arlington Million from Illinois. Back at Darlington after this. It is a very wet Darlington International Raceway that we welcome you back to, as the Mountain Dew Southern 500 has been stopped because of rain. This little girl is not minding at all. She's a little wet, but still is hanging right in there.
What am I supposed to do, Mommy? You wave, that's it.
John Kernan is with Kyle Petty.
You know, guys, I'm having deja vu experiencing it right now, because the last time it rained and Kyle and I were standing together, he wanted me to take it to a higher authority. Kind of reminiscent of Watkins Glen, huh?
Yeah, but they hadn't gone to a higher authority yet. Here it hasn't. I don't think so. Not yet, anyhow.
Looks like it's coming down pretty good out there right now, so maybe over. Pretty good run for you, despite being handicapped a little bit by pitting here on the back stretch.
That's what we were talking about with Mark's guys. You know, Mark's running a great race, probably the best race out here all day long, to come from 10th or 12th back to first and second, and then go back to 10th or 12th. And, you know, you give up 7 or 8 positions each time, and there's nothing you can do about it. We just had a bad qualifying run on Friday, didn't get an opportunity to qualify on Saturday, so it's just the luck of racing, but it's something that kind of hurt us today.
Well, if we need to take it to a higher authority, I'm sure Kyle will force me to do so. Let's go out to Dr. Jerry Punch, who's with Brett Bodine. Jerry, is it dry where you are?
Oh, it's about as dry as an ocean over here, guys. It's coming down pretty well. And I tell you, one driver we mentioned taking a poll. Some guys want to see it stop, some guys don't. I believe Brett wouldn't mind seeing it continue to rain. Brett, you've had your trouble.
Yeah, we really have, Jerry. It just seems like today, if it's going to happen to us, it's going to be today. We got run into early in the race, the left rear panel's knocked out of the car. I'm getting a lot of fumes in the car, and it's awfully hot. We've had mechanical problems in the pits with air guns and jacks, and we've lost a tremendous amount of track position there. And now the car's overheated because the grill got covered up with rubber, and it's thrown all the water out of the car, and I'm about out of fuel. You know, with Darrell and I stretched it there, we saw the raindrops coming, we tried to stay out. We're sitting good, but if this thing restarts, we could be in a little bit of a trouble.
Now, if it doesn't restart, you're going to get your first top 5 finish of the year. So it's been a good weekend for the Bernstein operation. Car owner over 301 miles an hour yesterday up at Indianapolis.
Well, I'll tell you, that team's really awesome. They really have their act together when it comes to punching out those high mile an hours. Kenny really wants to win that championship, and I hope he does it. You know, it means an awful lot to him. He's a tremendous competitor. I wish we could have run a little better today, but if it takes a few raindrops for us to get a top 5, we'll take it. We've had a share of tough things happen to us to keep us out of the top 5 earlier this year.
Well, carbon monoxide, they're out of gas, there's no water in the engine, and it's raining. Other than that, it's been a pretty uneventful day for Brett Bodine. Let's go up and check in with John Kernan, who's standing by with Dale Jarrett.
Well, Dale Jarrett has kind of took you by surprise there, huh? You got this live TV.
Yeah, you never know when you guys are going to be around, so you have to always be on guard.
It had a great run going today up front, and then you had to pit. It's kind of an aggravating situation to be in, isn't it?
Well, it is, but, you know, it's part of the game. You know, when you come out here, you know that can happen, and we had a really good car. The crew, first of all, has done a fantastic job in the pits all day long. We beat the majority of the guys out most of the time, and just done a fantastic job there. And the car drove well. We're not the fastest car on new tires. The car's a little bit tight. It hurts me down in 1 and 2 a little bit there. But as we go on, I know that I can make that time back up. The 6 car, I don't have anything for him, and as nobody else here except maybe Harry, and he's a lap down. But I can beat anybody else here in long runs, and Jimmy Maycar has done a really good job of getting the chassis set up, especially not having any practice. You know, we basically went back to the setup that we had here in the spring. We thought we had a pretty good car then, and had a problem, so we're pretty happy right now.
In a situation where you had, like yesterday, you only had about 15 minutes of practice, you ran the Busch Grand National race, ran so well in that event. Can you apply anything you learned there to getting the car set up for today?
Yeah, we tried to take some things that we had learned there yesterday. Jimmy was on the radio with me yesterday during that race, and on top of the truck spotting for me and knowing what the car was doing. So we tried to take some things and put it into this car, and you know, it's worked relatively well. The engine's run awfully good. Rick Wetzel and his guys have done a great job getting us a good motor, and all of those things come into play here. But I think running yesterday did help me, especially with only 15 laps of Winston Cup practice.
That's Dale Jarrett, who is very interested in what happens today, but I tell you what, he's probably very interested in what happens tomorrow night when his team owner's team, the Washington Redskins, open this NFL season against the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, thank you very much, John. Well, if we were to end the race right now, if this race does not go back to a green flag, it'll be the 3rd rain-shortened Southern 500 in history. Carolina has stopped the Mountain Dew Southern 500 with 298 of the 367 laps completed.
Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Well, here's the situation. NASCAR is not going to make a decision until at least 5:30 Eastern Time. That's about 42 minutes from right now. However, we're going to, as Darrell Waltrip, who is the leader of this race, does a little bit of rain dance and says, come on, keep falling. We're going to send you out to Arlington Heights, Illinois at 5 o'clock Eastern Time for that horse race that we've been talking about all afternoon, the debut of the jockey cam. However, we will keep you updated. Now, remember, even if the rain were to stop right now, it would be an hour or so before they could get the track right. So you're not going to miss a thing when we send you to Arlington Heights and that horse race. We will continue to keep you updated on the conditions here at Darlington throughout the afternoon and evening. Let's go down to John Kernan.
Bob, I tell you what, looks like the rain's starting to slacken up just a bit down here in the garage here, and we've caught up with Ken Schrader. And Kenny, I could have sworn I saw you running well today, but now you're telling me the car's not running very well?
No, the car ran good for a long time, you know, and we run 5th, 6th, 7th there, you know. I mean, we kept working on it all day, but all I know is it's raining and we're sitting out there 14th, so that's not real good right now.
Said that maybe they're getting ready to write the checks right now. You're not too pleased with sitting there in 13th.
Well, somebody just come by and said, well, you run pretty good all day. I said, they're getting ready to write the checks now, though. 14th don't pay near that good.
You know, we documented the fact about the neck problem, the surgery. I know a lot of people probably want to know, are you back to 100%?
Yeah, neck feels fine. Dr. Jerry Petty did a super job on it. I mean, I raced, 10 days later, and it felt super.
Well, Ken Schrader is always doing a lot of racing around. His neck is fine. This is probably really tough on him to sit here. And another guy who likes to do a lot of racing is with Jerry Punch.
Well, right now, John, we're doing a little bit of lounging back here in the Stoll truck, and I'm with Harry Gant. And Harry, you manage to smile, but right now you're showing a lap down until Darrell pits.
Yeah, it's probably going to rain, I think, here, but we just can't seem to get our lap back. We, got back out in front, but the caution didn't come out, so we never was able to take advantage of it.
You've had some bad luck. You came in, had a good pit stop, a couple of lugs didn't quite make it on. You had to come back in. That cost you a shot at the 10 grand.
Yeah, we sure didn't need that caution because we was had a good set of tires. The car was really hooked up good, and we were just stretching on out and really saving the tires. We was going to get a lot of distance out of those tires, and I felt like I'd have a lot of people a lap down by the time we come time to pit.
People were saying there may be 3 cars to beat out there if you're on the lead lap. The 33, yourself, the 28, and the 6. Could you beat the other 2?
Well, I'd have to be on the lead lap to see. A lot of things changes after track may change after the rain here. Our car's been good all day, but you never know when it rains and what the track conditions will do.
Harry Gant lounging here in the trucks. Let's check in once again with John Kernan.
Joe, I'm caught up with the pole sitter from today, Sterling. Sterling, you were running so great, then all of a sudden the car just didn't want to turn, flat tire or something?
Well, we run good, and we broke our air rinse on stop and had to go way back, and picked the way back up through there and went out in 1, and the car just wouldn't turn. I mean, it had to cut all the way to the left and went straight to the wall, and it wouldn't hurt too bad, and started in the back straightaway and was trying to get, pull down to come on in, get the tires changed, and it wouldn't turn again. So I slowed way down, and I don't know what happened, just wouldn't turn. I hated to wreck them other boys, and but wasn't nothing we could do.
Well, he's going to keep plugging away. I don't think anybody's had as bad of luck as Sterling Marlin has had to run as well as he does and to have not won a race yet. It'll happen sooner or later.
28th will be the final placing for Sterling Marlin if we do not go back to green. It's still raining, but not quite as hard as it did, so there's still hope that we can get the remaining laps of this event in. The final rundown, we say could because it is slackened up just a little bit, and NASCAR will make every effort to get this completed race in. And if we do go back to green, these standings will jumble, of course, but this is the way it is right now under the red flag.
Some had made pit stops. Some had made pit stops and some had not just before that caution came out. Of course, Darrell Waltrip, Bill Elliott, and Brett Bodine were 3 of the most notable ones that had not stopped, and so they're up there in the top 5.
Michael Waltrip finishing in 35th position, and there you see the final 3 that dropped out early in the going. Here is John Kernan with Rusty Wallace.
Tell you what, Rusty, you have to feel really good about this today. It's been a while since you've been up there leading the race and running as well as you were.
Yeah, the car's really running good. It's got a good, strong motor in it. We're just turning our RPM right out of frame, and it's really making it run.
we told the guys earlier, so we don't have nothing to lose, so we're down to the points. So let's twist the motor until she blows. And she's really running strong right now. The car's handling good. And great pit stops, man. It's just really good.
You guys made your run to the front there at that one point, then you started to fall back. Did you just drive the tires out from under you?
Well, I've only had 7 laps of practice since qualifying, and we just threw a setup in it based off our old records. And so, you know, we were kind of shooting crap, to tell you the truth. And I told the guys that we're going to have to crank wedge all day long, and I've been hollering on the radio. We've been wedge in, wedge out, tire pressures, everything in the world we've been throwing at it. And we reached our limit how far we could go, and the car went backwards. So we went back, and then it went forward again. I chased Davy down and caught him and went on. But I drove so hard to catch him. Once I caught him, I was out of tires again.
Well, Rusty won't be out of tires if they restart this race. He's got 4 stickers on set. He is ready to go. He wants to get this race restarted. Now, Jerry, I wonder what Darrell Waltrip's up to now.
I've got 2 amateur weathermen here with me, guys. Now, Darrell Waltrip says he thinks he hears it thundering.
I think a storm coming. Bad storm. Look over here, man. It's getting dark.
I can hear it clearing up. I can hear them clouds leaving.
But I think I'm going to go to my truck. This looks like it's getting serious.
Now, wait a minute. There's 9 cars on the lead lap. We started back. At least one of them's out of gas. We know that Brett Bodine's low on fuel.
Somebody else has been over here sweating a little.
I can only run 11 more laps, and then I got to come in. I was just kidding him. I didn't want to tell him, man, because I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to depress him. But, you know, I can go maybe 11 more laps.
Why'd your face turn so red when you said that?
Let's go. Hey, let's go down to Western Auto and buy some Haviland motor oil. Want to?
Now wait a minute. If it stops raining and they get it dried, it's going to be getting close to dark.
Well, you know it. As long as
they got Q-beam spotlights at Western Auto too.
As long as they keep doing this, I'm a happy camper.
Davy standing here awful calm, thinking about that $1 million.
Ain't thinking about that $1 million because right now, if this thing does end, we've got our first top 5 finish in the Southern 500, and we turn our record around. So we're pretty happy. We run our kind of race today and stayed out of trouble. I ain't run into Darrell or hitting nobody else, and ain't run into the wall yet. So
we're just bragging about that. He hadn't run into anybody. I hadn't run into anybody. We've had a pretty neat day, and I've never won the Southern 500. This is his best finish. I mean, you know, I think that's enough to call it.
You talk about optimism. There's one big family down here, and they're all smiling, having a good time. Even though it's raining, everyone's enjoying it, folks.
And if the race were to end right now, here is the way the points would shake out. Elliott would remain on top. Kowicki, Gant, and Martin 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 6th through 10th in the quest for the Cup standings. Kyle Petty, Darrell Waltrip would move to 7th. Ricky Rudd 8th. Dale Earnhardt would fall to 9th. And Morgan Shepherd would fall from 8th to 10th position in the point standings. There's the documentation. It's still raining at Darlington International.
All right. Woo! 3 of them, count them. My first Southern 500. Just a walking in the rain, getting soaking wet, torture in my heart. So they will all forget.
Darrell Waltrip has won the Southern 500.
Praise
it
God.
is official.
Western Auto.
We cannot get the track dried, and we cannot get the race restarted. And so Darrell Waltrip has won the Southern 500. Davy Allison's quest for the Winston Million falls short. Mark Martin finishes 2nd, followed by Bill Elliott, Brett Bodine, and Davy Allison in 5th position. Finishing 6 through 10, Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty, Alan Kowicki, Rusty Wallace, and 10th was Ricky Rudd. The quest for the Cup points, Bill Elliott stays on top, Allison still 2nd, Kowicki, Gant, and Martin 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Darrell Waltrip wins. Thanks for joining us. Now let's go back to baseball tonight.
The Southern 500.